we are back, and we're picking right up where we left off. Caliban. At the end of last session, we ended with the headmistress kind of looking at you, and she says, Caliban, I understand that I have put you in a particularly difficult situation, considering your standing with your family. I ask only this. If you could keep what you have heard to yourself, at least while you are a student, while nothing is undergoing. I assure you that should it come to it, I will let you know myself what is about to happen. And at that moment, you might choose what you wish to do.
Caliban looks to the rest of the party and then back to her. Well, you've been trusted with this much information already. Well, I'll agree to this, just to see how this develops.
She gives you sort of a half nod, half bow, sitting in her chair. She says, I believe this covers the purpose of why you wish to meet me here today. You've asked a great many questions, but I would not deny you any further. Otherwise, I think it best you get back to your studies. And obviously, Atira, you had left at this point, I imagine, to vent steam, as it were.
That is correct.
Do you have any questions?
Me?
No, the headmistress.
Oh, okay.
The headmistress thinks for a moment and says, many, perhaps too many, but for now, this is more than I expected, so I am happy to leave it here. Axel will be who I relay my messages through and who you should relay yours through from here on out. Other than that, I thank you for your understanding. If no one has anything more they want to add, or if someone wants to wait behind at the end, you certainly can, but otherwise she allows you to filter out in your own time into the Monday evening after school.
I forgot nothing. He's contemplating a lot after having brought up his situation with a case too. Would there be a way out of that? But he has years to contemplate that, so.
Okay. Sounds like you guys head out. Atira, you went to the combat training room to basically wail on a combat dummy, yeah, basically is what I recall.
That is.
Okay. While you're in there, after studies, there aren't too many people that come into the combat rooms for practice. If a burn in the screen. Oh, in the green screen?
No, yeah. I was just looking at all the map scribbles that are still there.
Oh, got you. I didn't understand what you meant for a moment. It's still got the remnants of the Goblin Cave maps.
Yeah.
Atira, as you are in this space, there aren't too many people here of a Monday evening. Terminus pops out, sat on a little bench at the side where people put their things, water bottles, things like that when they're training. His little frog legs hanging off the edge in big, heavy iron boots, kind of dangling, kicking back and forth. He's watching you punch this bag, and he just says, too much for you. Atira? Ooh, I don't know if... Oh, okay, you've disconnected, reconnected. Microphone setting issues, perhaps?
Technical difficulties. One
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, no worries.
How is it?
There we go. A noise.
Hey, yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Perfect.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, so Terminus
Not
says...
good as usual, but
Terminus says, too much for you.
She pulls back from hitting the punching bag and allows herself labored breath. A bit, yes. I wasn't prepared for her answer.
She stops to think for a moment and says, you, among the others, suspected some large conspiracy this whole time. I have to wonder, Atira, what did you think was going to happen?
I'm not quite sure. Maybe a part of me didn't prepare myself for how serious an actual conspiracy would be. There was more humor into it. It was fun to play pretend at something going on behind the scenes and then to figure out that she sort of looks around. No one else in the room?
Just you two.
I didn't expect that she'd be planning for us to help towards a coup.
Terminus thinks for a moment and says, best we figure out another word that we can use in public for that. I know no one else is here, but we should be careful. You're right. This isn't like history documents and stories. There are consequences that are possible. People you care about, people who can get caught up in this. But at the same time, we have shared a mind for a while now. I have seen why you are here. Do you not think that this is why you left?
She takes another break from punching the bag and leans herself against it, bracing it with a hand. It is. Do you think I'm ready for something like this, though? That I'll ever be ready for something like this?
Part 1, no, absolutely not. Part 2, maybe, if you work really hard, and if I continue to assist you, I imagine we could probably get you there, yeah. I mean, frankly, I could do it myself, but that sounds like a bother.
You doing it yourself also brings on a whole other list of problems.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be subtle, but, I mean, I could get it done.
She allows herself a small laugh, smile coming across her features. Do you promise to be there for me?
Thinks for a moment, conjures like a little piece of gold bell mushroom that he holds in his hand, having been gifted it. He can now procure it as he kind of turns it over and then fizzles it into nothingness and says, we both want things, and let's just say for now I think we're both happy with the partnership that we have developed. I don't see why that can't continue so long as it continues as it has, right?
Right. She's going to walk over and extend a pinky towards him.
He raises his whole little frog hand and grabs it.
It'll work, it'll do.
He shakes your
Thank
pinky
you.
like he would someone making a business deal, like a full handshake.
Oh, So, how tall is he actually?
It depends on how tall he wants to be.
Okay.
In this moment,
like, I'm-
right now, he's
Yeah.
like 2 foot tall.
Okay. Yeah, that's in line with what I'm thinking.
But all his fingers are like webbed together. So
Oh,
he can't even like separate out a pinky, so to speak, from his little frog hand.
How slimy is he?
When you first grab hold of him, not at all, but then he realizes you're expecting it to be slimy and mucus membranes out over it.
Oh, I wipe it onto his sandbag.
He looks at you and says, "That's medicinal, you know."
Well, I'll get back to that whenever I need medicine.
Keeping stashes, smart, taps his nose as mucus splats across his face. With that,
I think she'll.
he like fizzles and decays into nothing and disappears back into the lamp.
I will work out any additional stress and tension by just wailing on this sandbag.
Does anyone have anything they want to do across these next couple of days? You have open study, you can read more. I know some people have some books on the go, or work on projects, things like that. Just let me know.
Dafer has one because I'm not sure I remember right now off the top the context within which that came up, but there was talk about crystals with runes on it. We have already seen that a couple times with like modified crystals and so on. Just for shits and giggles, because he has no idea what will happen if it'll just blow up as like a wild experiment. He'll first ask if he can procure some crystal. Just, I don't think he'll ask for anything like specific. Just some crystal he can get his hands on that he could engrave a rune into. That isn't like gonna be too costly.
Okay, so the basic crystal comes in either what they call twigs or branches. So a twig is about the size of like a little finger to like a thumb sort of size, and then branches go from anywhere kind of like a baton that you would have in a relay race, up to the size of someone's like forearm up to their elbow in the largest varieties. There are bigger ones, but they wouldn't be easy for you to procure.
Yeah, like if I experiment a little bit with a twig, is that somewhat roughly representative of what I could do with a branch, in the sense that if something happens with a twig, I could remotely, maybe even with scale and so on, and specifics different.
The difference is the power behind it. So twigs are tend to be used to replicate cantrip level spells, and then the larger, the bigger it gets, you know, it becomes leveled spells basically.
In that case, a twig is fine. It's literally just for experimentation. If it breaks, it's not too bad.
Okay.
I don't know how that sets me back, if at all, given.
No, I think if you just asked for one of those, like it would be given to you by workshop students. It wouldn't be a problem.
It's literally just an out of curiosity experiment, because I think Daker would definitely do this. He tried to grab the crystal twig, take out the Vangi runes carving tools that he has. Like particularly picks out some of the finer ones, because he plans on engraving a rune into a twig, and those aren't like too stable, and too big. And just tries some experiment with carving in some like the core rune of this like weapon and armor set that like powers most of the logic behind it. This one like what he calls, but doesn't really properly translate into like a true strength rune that he doesn't really understand. And he just wonders what that would do on a crystal twig.
Yeah, give me an Arcana check.
Okay. The Vangi tools come with a +1. Does that apply to this Arcana check, or is this the Arcana check just for it?
The Arcana check would have a +1, you're right, yeah.
Okay. In that case, just calculate it on top of that, so that's a 16.
16. Having not worked with a surface quite this small before, so usually working with metal, usually working with a bigger sort of canvas, as it were, or having the mechanized punching pre-done stamps, sitting down to use the Vangi tools on just this small piece of crystal is a little bit of a learning experience in itself, right? You sit down at the workshop, you find that you eventually have to, like, clamp it to keep it still. You can't just, like, hold it and use your other hand and stuff, so you start getting to grips with the different tools in the kit. And are you doing this like across the 3 days? Yeah, like a little bit at a time kind of thing. Yeah. What you find you can do is the rune itself, as you carve it in, seems to create a field, a sort of like a field is the best way of describing it. Kind of like a magnetic field, but it's visible. There's like a scintillating set of... You know when someone draws the magnetic force, it's got these like lines, these bars that go from the middle outwards. So as you're holding the crystal twig, there are these lines that loop out over. But they're made of, as you're paying attention to it, it's like very fine dots. It's just that they're so small that they look like a solid, interconnected sort of like wiggling oscillation of these bars. On their own, you can feel like a slight resistance as you put your thumb on it, kind of like hard light, but it gives way under very little pressure whatsoever. It's more that like you can feel that there is a substance there to it. It almost feels like when you put your hand in water and when you feel it kind of like just go up over the skin, there's that sensation of something passing over your skin, right? But you don't actually feel any real resistance. There's just like a feeling of difference. It's that you can feel. So on its own, with this kind of power behind it, all you can feel is that it's got some sort of like projected, not even barrier, just field.
If I, and basically it would take my entire 3 days just to figure out like that is basically a barrier, because like the natural next thing to do would be, can I manipulate properties of that barrier by like adjusting the rune array, or is that, particularly since it's on crystal, and like this is all like new materials that interact differently with different rune arrays, does that even work, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm. So I would say like it probably takes you a day to get used to the setup. It's like another day for you to get the rune in and have a play around with it. So you'd have another, like the third day if you wanted to try something else on top.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. To see what happens if, for example, I try to apply the cold attribute in some manner. Cold specifically because it's the least likely to burn something down.
Yeah, give me another Arcana check with +1. 18. So, fiddling with different runes for cold, trying to work out, you have an index of ones that work in Crystalm. What you're working out now is which ones work in conjunction with this rune that you have that don't appear in any of the textbooks in the Academy. What you discover is runes specifically related to the concept of ice, be it like sheet ice or morning frost, things like that. Runes that are somewhat more around the physical concept of frozen water work much better. What's very interesting is it is cold when you put your hand near it, but actually when you put your fingers through this sort of like immaterial barrier, it still doesn't have any real substance to it. It's warm on the inside, and the longer the field is up, the warmer it gets in the core of this.
something to contemplate over, particularly since this opens up the hypothesis that runes related to solid concepts, like specifically something that has the property of hardness to it, I guess, might relate to that on some level, which is for a later day to experiment with.
Yep. So, Dayfra, you spend a few days messing around with your rune and seeing how it works with Crystal. Has anyone else got anything they want to do across the next few days? Otherwise, chilling out after a very, very busy field mission is also completely valid.
I think I'll make more progress over time through the book on spirits.
The one written by Elias, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Give me an intelligence check with advantage.
Yes. Let me just access my feet. Just tally up. Oh, you have it. Simple intelligence?
Yeah, just intelligence with advantage. 17. Sitting down and reading it, Elias's opinion on spirits seems to be that they are fundamental to existence. He talks a lot about how he believes that spirits probably predate the goddess, and that what the goddess probably did was introduce new concepts that birthed a lot more spirits. That like the idea of her conjuring something probably brought more spirits into being. So he makes a distinction between like elder spirits and post-goddess spirits as being like, if you think of human or humanoid concepts as being newer, so things like bravery or fear, he is of the opinion that anything to do with like human shortcoming is a weaker spirit than, say, a natural process such as decay. If the more natural and fundamental to the concept of existence something is, the older the spirit probably is from Elias's sort of like point of view. And it is this that he talks for like quite a bit about people sealing spirits away and not understanding the implications of. The older a concept is, sealing it away he thinks is riskier or prone to have a greater effect. In terms of what that means for humans and having spirits after death, with the uniqueness of humans in that regard, no other creature has ghosts, as it were. Elias likens this to the fact that when you pass on, you leave an impression in the people that you knew in life, that there is a concept of the being that you once were that no longer exists. So the idea is, in very much the idea that in the hearts and minds of those who loved you when you pass on, this idea actually is given some sort of corporeal sense. So if people remember you as having unfinished business, or know that you died in a way that was violent or sudden, it is grief that gives a ghost its ill intent. And in that sense, a ghost is entirely separate from an individual. An individual could be resurrected, and yet if people did not know that, that person could very well come across their own ghost, their own impression of how people perceive them. And Elias talks about people have concerns about necromancy and how that will affect the soul after death. And by that very merit, it is true. It is the idea of, because people believe necromancy affects someone negatively, when they are related to it and they pass away, the belief that they might come back as something evil or other creates it.
So it's not entirely,
It
or
is.
the fault is not entirely with necromancy, like
It is-
something intrinsic. It is.
Yeah, it's not inherent to necromancy. It's inherent to to mortals' relationship and history with the concept that makes it something potentially dangerous, as opposed to the very act of it yourself, as you said. It's not inherent. We love a self-fulfilling prophecy, yes.
Does his wording imply that it is the mass consensus of people that affects necromancy, or is it like person by person who uses necromancy?
He talks about ghosts and other things by intensity. It is the idea that if someone loves one individual so much and they pass on, the intensity of feeling might match the intensity of feeling of 1,000 people, right? But if 100,000 people all minorly feel that way, like, it can be equivalent in a sense. It doesn't. Quality has a quantity. Quantity has a quality all of its own, but quality matters as well, I think, is a good way of describing it. Because so many people have vitriol towards the Scourge and believe this about necromancy, it is particularly enhanced. There are lots of dogmatic people still out there in the world, and they all believe the old stories. So it's sort of a catch-22. It's both in terms of necromancy, and because of that, every time it happens, it just compounds it more, right? Because it gets proved right every single time, so it just proves itself right. Yeah.
I think she is going to digest all this, especially the part about ghosts and people's impression, and gingerly dog-earing the page she's on, she sets it down and spends most of the rest of the night laying up, looking at the stars and thinking about her mother.
Poor Uther. Yeah. You lay there and you know, in some sense, this memory, this feeling, it's real. Does anyone else have something they want to do? Or is it these two and everyone else is chilling?
What day is club day?
It's Thursday, so we're Monday to Wednesday right now, but we will hit Thursday eventually.
Okay, I have a feeling there might be paperwork I need to fill in to have the Flan Club set up for Thursday.
I think that is fair, yeah. I guess my questions for Clara is, as you go through the paperwork this Monday to Wednesday, do you want, like, a specific indoor or outdoor space? Are you looking to, like, get equipment for, like, storing them? And obviously you want more than one creature. Is there one creature in particular that you might put down as requesting and maybe wanting, essentially?
I think it would be reasonable to suggest some form of outdoor space, like perhaps I don't know, like a clearing somewhere, or like maybe in like a garden, or even like a training area, because these things are like not inherently dangerous any more so than any living thing is inherently dangerous, but like they come with complications.
Yes.
Hey guys, this is my pet bear.
Little trinket.
So that might be a good idea. In terms of like requesting specific things, I think Clark, I think she's gonna try and finally bullshit her way around not being able to get her pet, and she's gonna request an Araf from Heaven's Pillars just because she wants one, not expecting to actually get one. But I think the other things that she might like request for people to get used to are not necessarily actual like magical beasts, and more like crystals you could use to summon them.
Gotcha.
Because that's how I imagine. Like, she is a bit of an oddity, but most of the students are more likely to come across the crystals to use on missions, as opposed to doing what she is doing and keeping them as like pets.
Yeah, familiarize themselves with the things that can be conjured, because that has applications both for what you're trying to do and what they might be trying to do. I get you.
Yeah, it's probably a better place to start, and then like, I imagine it will eventually transfer into like, so guys, like, you know, we've seen how they can be used. Have you thought about maybe just like keeping them as pets? Just a thought.
Yeah.
Bond with your slimes.
And do you want to keep the slime terrarium in your room, or is this something you'd move somewhere else as well?
I'm gonna keep that in my room because that's like my personal
True.
project.
Yeah.
I think like she would, like there's a chance she would like bring it to a meeting or something to be like, look, this is where I started, and this is where the idea comes from. But she's not like, it's not becoming a club thing. This is hers.
Gotcha. Perfect. Alright. Yeah, it takes you a few days to finish the paperwork. You have to, like, go through, see what you don't have to do, see what you do have to do, give it in, all that sort of stuff. It would take you a while. So, yeah, I think that's good.
I also had a thought. This is not, like, necessarily something we need to, like, hash out right now. But because clubs are what give us, like,
Yes.
our feats, do I need to have Flan Club specific feats?
I think my answer to that is most certainly yes.
Okay, good. Because I had a list of 3 that I found just in case the answer was yes, that I can pitch.
That's perfect. Yeah. No, we will
Okay,
get to
cool.
Flan Club feats at some point, but yeah. Cool. Uther, were you saying something?
I'm thinking
Gotcha.
partially aloud. I do need to work on some rune stuff. I just don't know how to get from point A to point B.
Is this to do with the clay sort of like construct carving that you were looking into, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You did go to the library and read more books. I can't remember if you checked one out. I think you just read it and left it there, Uther. Remind me if I'm wrong.
I took the one from about the Vanjie stuff with us on the trip.
Yes, which you finished,
And
if
then
I
I brought
recall
it back.
correctly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that you looked at further books, but that might not have even been on Vangie, actually. Yeah, I mean...
No, because there's a very limited...
Yes, there's a very limited
supply
selection. Yes.
So I'm having to fill in the blanks with just general rune knowledge.
You could look at other construct information. So there is information on stuff like the Gadfellow constructs. Considering the Vangi make sort of kind of like terracotta soldiers and terracotta animals, there's probably some of those principles at play. You could read up on that. That might help out as well, Uther.
I think I'll go that route then.
Okay, give me an investigation check with advantage.
While he is ignoring other issues. You said investigation?
With advantage.
I also looked, and we have definitely shifted some wording on the Rune Shaper feat, so I need to add something onto that.
Yeah, going into like the main school library, looking around, you find some details on like how accurate a thing has to be in order to correctly recreate some of the details of it. With humanoids, it's not as much, but with stuff like insects or otherwise, it would have to be more detailed than other things. So the less like a person something is, the more accurate the carving needs to be, or the more accurate the representation needs to be. So things like studying the constructs, like the natural form of the construct's biology or whatever it is you're trying to recreate, would do you a lot of good, Uther. So looking at like nature drawings of, because I think it was like a centipede type thing that you were looking to do.
That was like the ultimate end goal I had, was a centipede, but I could,
Yeah.
if I get in a hurry, I can just do whatever.
Yeah, so the more you can accurately recreate these things, going to art club, Uther, and like doing some like sculpting there, using clay there or something like that, would definitely put you further along as well. So yeah, that I think
Art
that's
Club
what...
was definitely on the list of things to start doing.
Okay. But yeah, Uther, I would say that you read up, you know a good bit about Gadfellow constructs now, so if it comes up again in future and you've got a question, then just ask me and I'll tell you, I think. If there's anything you want to ask right now, you can as well.
Not at the moment.
Okay. Caliban, anything you want to look into over the next few days?
I think I will just help Mistle with her project whenever I get the chance.
Yeah, give me an intelligence check with advantage.
Alrighty, let me just... Where's my profile? My character sheet. Nope. You said intelligence with advantage?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Mistle suggests that you come to the year 1 dorms from here on out, due to the fact that she keeps butting heads with other individuals in your class. Spending time with her in the evenings. Are you just focusing on the work, Caliban, or are you talking to her in like a friendly capacity, or is this business for you, Caliban? Like what is...
A little bit of the first two, but I also wanted to emphasize that I'm also going to pass on Clara's advice of the insulation for her devices. It would need something miasmic. And what else did Clara also suggest?
I think the suggestions
It
were...
was
go on.
the suggestion was I said you should get something miasmic to take away the extra heat, and then Uta suggested you make the wire thicker.
Well, yeah, I think we could do both of those things.
So it says, I suppose it would increase the thermal capacity. It wouldn't help the flow problem, but it not melting every time would help.
And the wires are what? They're using copper wires, or?
Yeah, but it's a thin copper wire, so it could be expanded, as it were.
You can only shove so much electricity through a thin wire before it burns. Just throw it out there.
And so Uther's logic is, okay, but bigger wires.
It works.
I mean, look at a power line. Now look at an extension cord.
That.
She thinks for a second and says, I was considering changing project, but this could...
Right, I forgot about...
No, she shakes her head and says, but this could make it work. It does feel a little bit like giving up and running away, but... She wonders for a second and says, maybe if I can find a way to shape the ambaric mass into something more formed, and at the moment there's a different amount of charge from every piece I use. That could be a good place to start as well. Or it gives us 3 things to work on at least, doesn't it? We can test different thicknesses of wires, and we can try applying miasmic shells to either end of what's going on, and maybe we can find some way of making the ambaric chunks that go into it more regular.
You've made it this far as well. Just remember, you're doing this for yourself, not for anybody else.
Well, in some sense, we're doing it for us. So, there's that. You're a part of this.
Of course, of course.
But the two of you sit down and on a 16, yeah, you make some progress working towards getting some of these things figured out together.
Alright.
Your week of study and lessons about wands and staves and how they worked and how that was kind of translated into crystal casting crystals and the evolution of casting sort of sheaths for crystals onto just carving straight into the crystal and all that sort of stuff goes by. And Thursday rolls around, giving us our club day. Who's doing what for club this Thursday? I think, Clara, obviously your paperwork is in, but as of yet it wouldn't be set up, so that won't start yet. So what do people want to
I think I need to go to art club.
Art club it is. Anyone else?
Gardening.
Gardening for a tour.
I think I'm still doing the fencing club.
Yeah.
I think it's just continuing more of the base fundamentals for dueling and whatnot.
Yeah.
Safer would, for I think the first time in like almost a month, take a visit in the martial arts club, see if he can get some pointers for something to incorporate into how he fights normally. Maybe specifically something more more defensive, like in order to cover for others or the like.
Okay. Uther.
I think I'm also going to turn up to art club this go around.
We'll do art club first since there's a few people there. Clara, Uther, you head in. There are a few individuals in there, some of them workshop students. You obviously see Seth there, as he always is, painting. You also see someone who's from Laments. I'm not sure if either of you have talked to Kyle before. I know that Adhira briefly had, but I think that Adhira and Kyle are the only two students from Laments here in the academy, so I guess they sort of stand out slightly. But he is in here right now. He seems to be... There's like a glass case that he has in front of him, and he has different ceramic pots. Some of them are open, but he has like straws and spoons that he's using to pot material into this glass case. But yeah, those are the people you see in there.
Cool. I'm gonna take my usual seat next to Seth.
Anything in particular you've got in mind this time, Clara?
Yes, because we talked about how Clara's weapon now has spell storing.
Yes.
And we decided that her spell storing is in the form of her crystal-infused painting.
Yeah.
So I'm using this time to actually paint that onto my weapon so I can justify it.
Yeah, probably would have had to get the actual ink and paint from the workshop students, but you could bring it here and use this space to paint on it, absolutely. Seth would, keep doing what he's doing for a little bit, and then lean back and look over and says, It's a rather spiky canvas.
Well, it's sharp. I don't know whether I would say it was spiky. I'm storing spells in my weapon. A spell in particular.
Rather stylish way of doing it. Most of us just shove a crystal in there, but... Well, not
That's
me.
boring.
It is a little boring.
Besides, if this is proven to work, the bounds are kind of limitless. You can get away with painting on so many things without it actually looking suspicious.
I suppose so. Plus you can hide it on yourself, in a sense, as well.
That's true.
Although I don't know what direct crystalline contact with the skin for an extended period of time will do. I'd have to ask someone smarter than me.
I don't know either. Maybe one day I'll find out.
He stops for a second and is like, I wonder if you could paint an illusion on a wall and it... Do you know what I mean? Like, paint a door?
I don't see why not. You'd have to ask them a little bit more about it, but Dafer and Uther, they have these rune things, and when you apply them, they affect whatever they're placed on. Well, they can. I'm a little bit hazy on how it works. Those two are experts. I don't need to be.
He looks over
But
at
I
you,
suppose it's the same idea.
looks over at Uther and says, your first time in the art club, isn't it? I don't think I've seen you in this room before, anyway.
Kind of flicks his hands open, just kind of wiggles them a little bit in surprise.
When did you get here?
Minute or two after you did, I thought we were still having a disagreement, so I was giving you a little space.
This sounds a little bit ridiculous. I've kind of forgotten what we were disagreeing about.
Excellent.
What were we disagreeing about?
Don't tell her.
I was. We'll save that discussion for after club time.
Seth nods and says, yeah, are you here to paint, or...?
Uther probably just, like, picks up a blob of clay from off to the side and just slaps it on the table. My medium is this, mostly. Painting, I do need to practice.
We have some wheels if you need them. Otherwise, feel free to use whatever's out. Not many people are doing clay modeling at the moment, so I think you've got your share of, well, everything.
What are you making? A homunculus?
Soon. Not right now, but soon.
Well, really? Why?
You know that project we were given that we weren't told about, but we have? The Vanji have a really interesting construct format that I would like to figure out how they operate.
Have you looked at any of the prior research on it? Surely there's something.
Shockingly, with the group of nomads that no one hardly has contact with that does not involve sharp, pointy things, there's not a lot of research being pushed around.
But you're so good with sharp, pointy things.
Yes, and I'm trying to avoid international incidents by sneaking over the border and stealing research materials. So
Couldn't be me. I am an international incident.
Seth
now,
chuckles.
as for your question about illusions, I have hypothetically seen a painting that affects reality around it.
That's true.
He gives a sort of like low sort of whistle and says, that's a pretty fancy painting. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I've seen
Yeah, I was hiding a basement.
I've seen some images on display in some of the galleries that sort of give the appearance of strange depths. There was a painting that was over an archway that you could then sort of walk into, and the inside of the room was painted in a way that if you looked at it from different angles, it just looked like you were looking into the painted scape. But that was less magic and more trick of the eye, I suppose.
But yeah, I think what this is going to come down to is like just how good you are at illusions and weaving in a physical, I guess, a physical embodiment of the illusion you're trying to do.
I'll try it. At some point. It just seems like a really interesting idea. Besides, most of the crystals I take places are illusion magic.
Or can I roll an Arcana to like see like what path we would be going on this?
Yeah, give me an Arcana check.
Uther's head is like kind of tilted to the side, and he's just
In the
running
distance.
numbers in his head.
So, there's two ways to go through this. Well, actually, technically there are three, but two of them are very close to each other. So you can use Crystalm, and you can make like a transmutation spell paint that might, like when you paint it on and the image is finished, might literally transmute a section of wall into a door, right? Kind of like a pass wall spell in a sense where you paint the door and then you can open it. Alternatively, you can have an illusion spell that is very high level that will essentially alter reality to match the illusion so long as the person believes the illusion. So you can have some real Looney Tunes stuff where someone can run through a tunnel, and then you could then either have it sort of so that the person, if the person realizes illusion, they get ejected from the tunnel or can't go through it. Or you can have the tunnel be temporary because you can dismiss the illusion, and then all that will remain is the painted thing on the wall, and someone would run straight into it after watching you having used it like a tunnel. The third route is to find out what the runic symbology for things like door, passageway, all those sort of things are. Paint them in the shape of a door, so it would be like making an image out of lots of tiny little runes. And because they alter the environment in which they're painted, it would turn that space into that thing while the runes are in place. If the runes were
Oh my god, runic
smudged.
pointillism.
Yeah, so it would create a door so long as those runes are basically kept intact, as it were. Yeah. Those are the three sort of routes.
Uther probably just has like gone silent for like a solid minute, shakes his head and goes, do you want to physically affect reality? Or do you want to change the idea of something is kind of how this is going to go, I think. And do you care about crumbling up crystals and putting that in paint? Because
Clara looks down at the paint that she has crumbled up crystals into.
some people might want to conserve resources. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yes, technically. But I can reuse this paint for a long time. It's not going to take me all of it.
Oh, no, I'm not, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, you could grab a very high-level crystal that would be powerful enough that it changes your perception of how reality works. And you could just walk through a tunnel you've painted on. Or you could take an actual, like, crystal that affects the physical world and then just brute force it that way.
I think
Or
one
you
of
could
those
go-
is a lot more applicable with the resources we're currently given.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see us getting to access high-level illusion magic crystals anytime soon.
You never know. Stuff falls
It'd be
off
cool.
the back of trucks all the time. And then there's the runic path, which is going to be a lot of fine details to just have runes change reality.
So-
At least localized area.
Seth just says that's the only one that would work for me then.
Do you think, in theory, if we started taking paint on missions, we could just rune things on the fly?
Define on the fly, but hypothetically, yes.
I mean, I suppose
Yeah,
it
the issue-
depends how much
the
you needed to
issue-
change, but
Well, I need to double check how that would work as a... The
Yeah.
material being used for the rune itself, I would need to double check on that. Secondly,
You'd
the
need
material
like an
being
encyclopedic
affected.
knowledge, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would have to be able to cross-reference the material-specific runes, because...
And I
Yeah.
guess hearing you say that, Seth says, well, there goes my only option then. I guess I can't do any of those.
I just
Now-
like it. The theoretics of it are quite
Oh
interesting.
no, in theory it works. Like, Dafer has opted into being able to punch runes into stone material. He doesn't have to cross-reference anything because he has hard locked into stone.
But it's not as flexible as what Clara's talking about, is it? Clara's just
Right.
looking for a way of changing things on the fly, which would be
I just
if-
think
fun and more flexible.
if we run into the issue of, like, for some reason that rune puncher not working, and I'm not saying I expect the two of you to have an encyclopedic knowledge of how it works, but let's say we were able to figure out certain combinations, right? Like how to make metal so weak you could bend it, or how to turn a small gap into a bigger one so you could break through the locks of a keyhole. In theory, with your combination of rune knowledge and some very detailed paintwork, would be able to apply that broadly.
I think I'm going to grab like a piece of paper and draw out like 2 runes that do a similar effect, but for different material, and I'm just going to slide that to her.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Well, which material is this?
How am I supposed to know? Paper?
Technically correct. Not the correct I'm looking for. And it's just like... I get what you want. Ultimately, the best idea I would have for that would be to think of the runes you would want to use and have a cheat sheet.
I mean, I've got to be honest, this idea was hinging on me having 2 experts for friends. Or as close as I think I'm realistically going to get to experts. I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. I'm just saying...
No. You're not stepping on anyone's toes. It's just... It is... Trying to convert a rune on the fly is not quick or easy sometimes.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm asking. I'm not talking about converting runes on the fly. I'm talking about being able to apply selections of runes you already know in ways you haven't previously thought. Because let's say, for example, that David's rune stamp gets broken or something. If you could paint the rune you need on a surface and know what effect it's going to have, then as
Now
a
that-
collective team, we have a lot more ability to adapt to whatever situation. I don't know enough about runes to be able to tell you how it works, but I can tell you my detail work is phenomenal.
Biggest issue I see is Dafer's current rune collection being reversed, so we would just have to factor that in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just for something that sprung from an idle thought. I suddenly think this is a really good idea to just chip away at over time.
Don't let me forget, and we'll loop Dafer in later, see his thoughts. I have no idea how he feels about painting.
Seth sighs.
Oh, he
and
doesn't have to
says,
paint. He could be the brains of the operation.
Seth sighs and says, I wish my small team had such expertise. Neither Delphin nor I use Crystalm, and neither of us have a knowledge of runes either.
Would you like to start?
I suppose I could always start learning rune work. That is true.
I've always been around the things. If I wasn't here, I would probably be neck deep.
I can see why people do prefer to use the crystals. I suppose it is simpler, more convenient.
I just think they're interesting.
Runes or crystals, sorry.
Runes.
He nods.
It's an entity that we've been interacting with since basically before we tamed dogs, if you want to think about it like that.
I suppose so. It is interesting to me that some aspect of language is innate. Like, it's always been here. We've just co-opted it. But as you guys chatter about runes, paint, illusions, Looney Tunes, the three of you work on your respective paintings. You see Carl makes colored like sands, turns it into a 3D layered artwork of like different bands of colors and things like that as they fill this glass shape in from the top to the bottom and then eventually seal it up. Seemingly happy with it, they put it on a shelf nearby, and Kyle, as he's walking past Seth, kind of looks at him and says, thanks for letting me use the space. I didn't mean to be... your conversation, I didn't mean to listen in, but you said you can't use crystals? Seth sits up a little straighter and looks at him and says, no, I can't. Circumstances of my gift, I suppose. Carl shakes his head and nods and says, sorry, I didn't mean to pry. I guess I just found it interesting. Smiles at the Clara and Uther and says, class 10, right?
Yes. How do you know?
I'm class 1. My name's Kyle. I'm in Mistel's class.
Clara bites her tongue to stop her saying, oh, I'm sorry for you.
Uther's hand has like almost reached around to grab her by the mouth. It just stops like halfway through the motion.
He just says, Caliban came round our dorms the last few days. I only saw him in passing, but it's nice to see that she's spending time with someone. Anyway.
That's pretty close.
It was nice to meet you.
Wait, Kyle, was it?
Yes.
You... Please don't take this the wrong way. You look very similar to one of our classmates. Are you from Laments?
He nods, yeah. Adhere and I have talked once before, just briefly, but it was nice to see a familiar face.
That was going to be my thing. If you hadn't met, I was going to suggest you speak to her, but it's okay. You beat me to it.
It seems like her time is mostly co-opted by another member of Year 1, so maybe some other time.
I'm sure she has time open for friends outside of her special friend.
He
Noodling Tommy.
just smiles and says, "You're right. I shouldn't let that be an excuse. I might swing by the dorm at some point, maybe this weekend. See if anyone's around. See if Adira wants to chat about different colored sands." Kind of glances at the jar and then says, "But I've got to get somewhere. Again, nice meeting you two."
Yeah, we'll see you around.
And he heads out of the art room.
Look at us making friends.
Anything more that you guys want to do in art club, or are you good there?
I'm good.
Just stay civil. So proud.
Adhira, since you've been away, they have finished up the sort of underground space with the plant life from Laments. It's been delivered. They're still putting in different, like, shelves inside this, like, underground sort of cave type space where they're putting in different underground mushrooms and plants that sort of trail up the side. So that's kind of what you're looking at as you arrive there. And I think it's Seth's sister, isn't it, that greets you when you arrive? Let me just double check.
Ashlyn?
Yeah, Ashlyn, that is right.
Good, because my American in me wants to mispronounce that horribly wrong.
I think a lot of people, I don't think it's just you, but yeah, Ashlyn sees coming in here and says, "Oh, good, you're here. I was wondering if you could give me some notes on arrangement. I wanted to look at it as natural as possible down there. So we've put things up, but if you want to move any of it, you tell me."
Oh, yes, I'd love to take a look. What's it like getting down in there? Is it like ladders, steps?
They have installed a fireman's pole because that's the fun.
Oh my god.
There is a set
I
of
shall-
steps to go in and out, but there is also the pole that heads in through the space, like the opening in the top.
Well, I'm never one to do things halfway. She is going to slide down that pole.
Yep, you kind of do a little swirl as you head down and step off into space. You are immediately assaulted by memories of home. Things aren't perfect down here at Hira, but they've done a good job of getting started. A lot of it isn't blooming yet, and most of it will reach the peak of familiarity and like the scents and things like that when that happens. But right now, you recognize these vine sort of like crawlers that run along rock faces on the inside. You recognize like these fungal groups, and yeah, just all these different plants and flowers and things that are waiting to bud and bloom, arrayed around you. Ashlyn slides down the kind of fireman's pole and says, "So, how is it? How do we do?"
She's silent for a moment before closing her eyes and taking a deep inhale, getting the smell of soil and dirt and various other things. It's just like home. Well, obviously not full bloom, but this is very well done. What did you use for reference?
Some book at the Witch's Nook. One of the librarians there sort of clued me in on where to look.
Vera, probably.
I think so. She nods.
What is the floor made of? Is it like rock or is it soil?
So they've actually poured down sand and then stomped it out on the ground, so it's kind of like a compacted sand beneath you. Unfortunately, the walls are sort of like braced soil, but they've stuck some stone in the wall in different spots that isn't right, but it's like the right colorations. Adhira, as you run your fingers over it, you recognize that it's just like smooth sandstone as opposed to what would been more there's more volcanic activity in Laments than most people realize, so you don't fault them for that. Yeah.
I think the one thing that we might be wanting to do, is there any way we could get the volcanic soil?
He thinks for a moment, says, I can see what I can do. It's not something I'm, I guess, familiar with. Maybe we can sit down together and you can describe it to me. I'll write up what it is I'm requesting and see if someone else knows better than me.
But other than that, it's perfect. Thank you. I needed that after the last few days.
She nods and says, I want to get some people who understand runecraft in here as well. Some of the workshop students. The greenhouse makes it warmer, but I think a little bit more heat in here that's more consistent might help.
What are we gonna do about moisture?
She thinks for a moment. It's like, well, I was hoping that we could have some sort of collectors for it, something that will collect any vapors and then sort of we'll just empty it every week or something like that.
Now, I was still... I mean, I am still young, it wasn't that long ago, but did I ever learn what they made the spires in our colonies out of? Was there anything special?
Give me a history check with advantage.
Right?
17?
17.
Two kinds of spires. In the older settlements, spires predate modern Lament civilization. So we're talking about spires that were built during the Goddesses era. They're as old as some of the Guardians in a sense. Newer spires are made sort of in their image, but they can't be nearly as big just because of the impossibility of old architecture. What you are aware of is there are rune carvers, obviously, in the Laments who can use runes to turn sand into something that you can kind of... it's almost like a gravity-defying material, in a sense, Atira. Like, you can compact sand onto the ceiling and carve, like, a rune into it, and it won't fall. And it's that it's made out of, this sort of, like, shaped sand that is magically modified.
Well, to make it like the real deal would be pretty tricky, but maybe there's a way we can work with shaped sand and runes to create something that brings moisture down here. But I am not too familiar with the inner workings.
I'll look at a crystal solution to begin with, just to make it simpler. We can make something more long-term if we think it's worth it, but for now, I'll take the easy route. We've got enough to work on.
She chuckles, yes. Other than that, it's great. Adhira is going to remove her shoes and then just sort of step barefoot onto the sand.
Ashlyn reaches into her pocket and pulls out a small sort of silver key and holds it out to you. This is for the greenhouse. I just thought that if you ever needed to come down here, well, you can.
She looks at it for a few moments and then takes it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I understand that you and your class are close with my brother, so I guess in some sense I'm looking after him by doing this as well, so.
I think Adhir is going to pull her into a soft hug.
Oh, okay. She pats you on the back and says, I know. Sometimes missing home hurts, so I'm helping you. Yeah, okay. And she just like separates herself.
I've stepped away some. Yeah. It felt good.
She nods.
I am going to set Terminus down in here for a little bit while I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna tell him don't start any trouble.
Don't know if Ashlyn's ever seen Terminus before. I think the people in the dorms for year 2 have, but Ashlyn's a year 3 student, so
I don't think she has.
She watches you conjure a small little night frog and put it down on the sandy floor, and then kind of glances at you and says, "Is this a tradition?"
No, this is... Kind of looks at him and bites her mouth from stopping her from saying like what he fully is. Like, he's a spirit related to mushrooms. He's also my combat partner.
She kneels down, puts out her hand, says, Ashlyn, although perhaps you already know that. Terminus nods and says, yes, I can hear while I am tucked away and stored like a piece of furniture that's no longer required for the living room of her life. She actually just sort of like raises an eyebrow at you.
You're being mean. I don't appreciate that.
It here says you're a spirit of mushrooms. Terminus rolls his eyes and says, I invented mushrooms. I'm not a spirit of mushrooms. And Ashlyn says, well, as the inventor of mushrooms, perhaps you could assist me in looking at the ones we've planted here. Yeah, okay. And she, like, says, do you need... He's like, yes, pick me up. And she has to, like, pick him up
Uppies. Big uppies.
And carry him over to the little mushroom shelf where he gives his supreme advice. Where were you going, Atira?
I'm going to temporarily check out a 3rd level spell, and I'm going to bring it back here to use.
You about to fireball this space?
No. I'm
like
going to pick up the 3rd level spell, Life Transference.
Okay.
I'm going to bypass the greenhouse. Wait, where are the tree, the sapling, the seeds I planted?
Not too far away, but there's like a tree line, and I think you're at the edge of the tree line, so it's like maybe 25, 30 feet away from where the greenhouse is, closer to the stairs.
I am going to quietly kneel down by the soft mound of earth, sort of feel around for the exact space where I put the seeds down. And gripping the crystal, Adhira is going to ruminate on Elias's words about the intent, the feeling, the memory. And I'm going to use the necromancy spell to give some of my own life, my own memories and love into the seeds of my mother's favorite tree.
You will, of course, take 48 damage. You do.
I sure will.
You do have combat practice, but you can spend hit dice tonight. But yeah, go ahead and roll for damage. 48.
It will get this double. That's the fun thing.
Wait. For notice, we had a couple days. I would have had like regular time to do her temp HP. I feel like would it be fair to assume that you have the temp HP buff?
I would say it's fair. But you can't reduce the damage taken by life transference in any way. I would say that text precludes temp HP as well. But yeah, good thinking.
Spirit abuse. What is spirit abuse? You can.
Because you fold him away like a lawn chair.
I don't fold him away. I put him on a shelf.
You're ashamed of him
Yeah.
and hide him.
You should be wearing him like a crown.
Click the fucking button.
Okay, you know,
You take 19 points of damage as the memories you focused on after reading the book, the energy that is stored not just within yourself but within your shell, this amalgamation of life that you keep pulled on your person at all times, flows in soft green and dark hues, almost like rivers that flow across the surface of your skin down your fingertips, and they collate like all these tributaries into a single stream of energy, flows into the tree. It doesn't like rapidly undergo growth. It doesn't like spring up to a bigger size, but what you watch is the leaves grow more verdant. What is there of the stem sort of like thickens slightly, and odd colorations and markings start to spread across the surface of it. A plant that, as you know from spirits, is more complex than a lot of people give something credit, right? Like mushrooms can speak, so too must this tree be able to. And from you, all of these memories are imparted to it. This entity that is growing in memory now is not just a monument to, but also contains, like a capsule buried away, much of these feelings. And you can see that visually represented in these sort of color markings that spring up across the surface of the plant.
I think she's going to blink back the beginnings of a few tears, and she is going to smile at her work. I will leave it to grow. I will return the spell, and I will head back down to the greenhouse.
Okay. Obviously you sit with Ashlyn and sort of go over the volcanic materials that you think might be good to grab, but anything else you want to do before?
That'll do it.
Okay. Caliban, heading to the fencing club. Are you focusing still on having like the parrying dagger and the one weapon, or are you like leaning more into like single weapon type thing, or?
Just I'd say just like getting a stronger fundamental like baseline. So it's just like normal fencing.
So yeah, just normal. And are you practicing the style that you're like familiar with, or are you trying something new? Because you've probably got like some version of like court fencing. There are people here that would practice more like sport fencing or other things like that. Is that something you would dabble into, or would you keep to your own style?
I'll see what that's about, like sport fencing, but if it bears any fruit, then yeah.
I think give me an acrobatics and athletics a check.
Okay, sure thing. Acrobatics and then athletics.
Yeah.
Oof.
Trying something new is exhausting. It quickly, you're moving in a way that you're not used to. It's hitting muscle groups that you're not used to. So you find yourself getting tired fairly quickly, but at the same time, you pick it up pretty quickly as well, Caliban. The difference between the style you're used to is court fencing, you move into position and you hold that position, and there's a lot of like flow, strength, flow, strength, flow, strength. With the more like modern sport fencing, it's all about mobility. You strike and you're already moving to a different position to strike from. There's none of these moments of rigidity in it, which makes it great for avoiding and dancing around bigger opponents. But if you're fighting someone on equal standing, or equal size and sort of strength. What you're dealing with is just a contest of movement. If your footwork isn't as good, if you aren't as quick on your feet, you will lose if you're like fighting toe to toe with someone, basically, is what you realize, Caliban. So it's a better style versus big, slow, heavy opponents, but you think with your court fencing style you could beat most of the like people who are practicing this newer style here because of the way that you'd be able to take ground and sort of hold it in a way that they wouldn't be expecting. Obviously, that's very much your style, Caliban, is you endure hits and deflect and parry and so on. So
I think I'll dabble into it because, like, while court fencing, he can like rely on it. If somebody is able to like get past it, then that would be trouble for him because he'd have nothing else to fall back on.
okay, so you spend that evening sort of learning a new set of footwork. Yeah, it would be useful against people like Dafer or like very large miasmic monsters that if they hit, you're not parrying like a huge like dragon claw, right? Kind of. This would let you sort of flow around it, sort of leaf on a wind style.
Though not for lack of trying.
Not from the, yeah. You would somewhat parry it, and just the rest of the weight would get through for sure, kind of. And that's the
Like carrying, but for my entire body.
But yeah, you spend your evening practicing that. Not too much happens. Obviously, people pop up and like challenge you, and you know you do some sparring here and there. But most of the people in the sword fighting club are either Akira, who is kind of leading things with her many duplicates, or more of the workshop and logistics students come here because they have no baseline sort of physical training, so they often come to clubs like this to have something in case, I don't know, the train gets ripped open and a Ravager comes into the front compartment. It would be nice to know how to move this pointy stick in the direction of it, right? So yeah, there isn't too much of a challenge here for you, Caliban, if it's not one of the instructors, but enough with a new style for it to be interesting for you, I would say.
All right, cool.
Dafer, you were learning more defensive stuff, is that right? At more of a martial arts club.
That would be correct.
Heading in, Sigrid, who threw the ball at the sort of like knock over a target stand and just kind of shook the whole thing with the impact and knocked all the pieces over. I think you might have sparred with her before. Seeing you walk in, she will kind of approach you and say, you have not been here in a while.
I've not been busy a fair bit. I eyed the target that she knocked over behind her with like what, a single punch?
No, she threw a ball at like a coconut shy, but instead of targeting the coconuts, hit the shack to shake the shack enough to knock all of them over. So she like, this is a while back at the festival.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
But she walks up to you and says, "You've been here for a while." You say, she says, "Not many here can take a punch. You can. You will spar with me."
Daver has a slightly bewildered face at like that very direct approach, but he doesn't really. He goes with the flow on that one.
You head over to one like sort of corner where there are mats down, and she instructs you to put your hands up, and she tries her very best to hit you in the face. Would you like to give me an athletics check? Over the next few hours, she focuses on attack, you focus on defense. I think you end up with a few onlookers because people have sparred with her before and not many of them last the full duration of club time like you do, Dafer. You're actually able to take some of these hits, and like occasionally she gets through your guard. Now and then instructors come over and give you pointers on like the best way to move around some of this, like so a good way of like bobbing, weaving, tucking in, very much teaching you a more boxing style of fighting. And I think Dafer, to be fair, you use like kickboxing as kind of the basis of your fighting style, even if it's not traditionally trained, shall we say. You're a bit more of a learn on the job kind of fighter. So you're picking up some terms from people, and they're sort of teaching you a few of the things you've been doing. They're giving you names for, and you're sort of understanding why it is you've instinctually done things certain ways, and you're picking up some information from this with a decent opponent that can actually make you need to block.
I think a lot of it is that Daper in general was not like a well-trained fighter before in general. A lot of what he could do just relied on, like, which is reflected in his strength score, which is high, but not like above average, a decent amount, but like not insane by any stretch of the imagination, given it's 14. And so a lot of what he does and what he can do just relies on him just having stamina for days, for years, essentially, and his runic work, which enhances that to a large degree. So now he actually gets like some
education
basics down, solidified, and so on.
And you learn from Sigrid talking to instructors coming over every now and then. She was strong before her shell. She has some innate goddess-given ability to capacitate kinetic energy. It's not like to the degree of some abilities, but she has like a minor ability to store energy, not unlike a shell, but it must be physical. So she can execute jumps like the jump spell after a little bit of like charging up in a sense, and can kind of burn this energy as well, which is why she was able to throw that ball at like the coconut sand. She just put all that energy into that throw, which rattled it and stuff. She's strong anyway, but she has this extra reserve tank for physical prowess, basically, and she uses some of that to sort of rattle your improving defenses as you keep moving forward. But yeah, you realize, I guess, fighting with her, the two of you have an interesting sort of... You obviously have an enhanced version of defense via runes, but you're learning how to actually do that with, like, actually learn some skill to it. She has an enhanced version of attack, but she's learning how to use some skill to it. So the two of you sort of have this weird cross paths of learning as you're coming up against each other that sort of impact into one another quite well. After a few hours of back and forth, she eventually sort of relents and takes a small towel, dabs her forehead, and kind of sits down to one side. Says, finally, a good session.
Yeah. Just rotating shoulders around a bit. As I assume, he tensed up a fair amount during that spar. Yeah, this was nice.
She
energy out of me.
Leans back and offers you a bottle of drink and says, is from Centron, a special combination. It's good for you.
Sorry. Sure. Just takes it, assumed it's like maybe slightly salted water, because way out in the boonies in Dulukop, like salt is everything you have there for spice. So that's like kind of nice for sport, like just salted water. So he assumes it's something along those lines, maybe slightly spiced water in some way. So he just like downs at least one huge gulp, depending on what the taste receptors hit.
The first gulp hits, you get initially something earthy, which isn't too far from salty. You're like, okay. What I can only describe as the next thing that hits you is the taste of what you think might be, like, having looked at pond water before, tastes maybe something like that.
I have not drunk pond water in my so just stale brackish water.
Stale algae-ish. Also, there
I was
are...
honestly expecting some kind of like 40% vodka.
No, as you kind of drink it as well, there are bits in it. It is there is some sort of like maybe like ground up seaweed or something like in there as well, Dafer.
I think Daper would like make a grimace at one point, like the after like a hot second or so, instinctively, because of the very unexpected taste, the unexpected consistency as well. But still, like, this is best to like drink a couple more large gulps. Put it down. What is this?
Water mixed with different plants from the sea. Best you lick your teeth. You've got. She kind of points at you and like you got like green stuff between your teeth.
Daper does so, slightly taken aback. What is there like some specific nutritional bits to it, or is that just common?
She shrugs and says, I was told it's good for you, so I drink. She thinks for a moment and says,
like,
you eat food to help you as well, yes?
Yeah, pretty much. I started a couple of years ago looking a little bit deeper into like how certain things just help you build up more muscle mass and like pull out the like my okay developed biceps. I just help you put on usable mass in general.
She thinks for a moment and then puts her hand on your shoulder and says, I like you. You can cook for me then.
I think, like, less cackling like a hyena, but still bellowing out a small laughter. You'd need to come by the our class. Oh God, what were we class 10 or 11? 11, I think.
Class
right?
10.
10. You'd need to drop by the class 11 dorms then. Sorry, class 10 dorms then. Because
she shakes her
I
head
have
and
a team
says,
to feed.
no, this Saturday, you come to my dorms. You cook for me.
Right.
Okay.
Any plans other than that?
Sorry?
Any plans other than that?
Well, yes, I have a busy week, but not involving you.
Alright. Then, see you on Saturday.
She nods and then says, you can keep bottle, and then walks off with her own.
What the fuck am I reading there, Clara?
Listen, it's what the people want.
It is what
They're
the
all
people
thinking it.
I don't actually know the reference to that. Like, I have some reference, but I don't think you're a Hassan watcher.
I think it's not from a specific thing so much, or at least it probably was at one point, but it's sort of transcended that now. I think it's quite...
Degeneracy transcends.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, degeneracy does tend to transcend.
It'll be from like a Twitter post or something.
It's gotta be, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That is club stuff, I think. Does anyone have any specific prep they want to do before combat practice tomorrow? You know you're back up against Andrus in Class 1 and that they've picked up another Year 1 to assist them, although I don't think you know which Year 1 that is.
Well, now I'm curious.
If you want to try and
I have an
find out.
idea about which Year 1 it is.
If it's Mistle, she's going up first.
I think it might be Sigrid. I think Sigrid would fight anything that moves.
I think you might be right on that.
Can we attempt to figure out which Year 1 it is?
Yeah, give me an investigation check if you want. I assume if you're just gonna like poke around a little, Luther.
Yeah.
22. After art club, you kind of head towards the first year dorm. You do actually see Mistle Draken sat talking to Kaspar and Niall. You overhear very briefly about them talking about how they work as a team and how Mistle might try and fit into that.
I don't know how to express the expression on Sammy's face, but oh my god.
Listen, I just
Are
know
you sitting next to the Joker now?
if we lose, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, no, I'm probably going to see that, overhear a little bit of it, and basically instantaneously call a team meeting as soon as I can like gather the team.
You're all gathered together, yeah?
We're fighting the sheep.
The sheep.
Well, that's one benefit. That means we're not fighting Sigrid, which I was terrified it might be, because if he hits you, like, I specifically point at the now very sickly looking Atira, who has taken 19 damage.
I think she's managed to
It's-
get it back, but although it would be that same
Yeah,
day.
I overhealed.
It would be that same day, to be
Yeah.
fair, but yeah.
Yeah, still, I'd still be like, if she hits you specifically, because I just assume you still look kind of like hit.
Yeah, she's probably like a little haggard.
I'm pretty sure you're not getting back up.
Well, I'll make sure to stay away from her then. Well, in the future, should we face off?
She's fine as a person. Just don't get on the wrong side of her fist.
Does Dafer look a little worse for wear?
I think Dafer would have some bruisings on like the forearms, yeah, like where they would have taken like the brunt of the straight jabs or something like that.
I would argue though, in terms of like you just see the bruising. I would argue, like, feel free to correct me here, Sam, in terms of like how intense something is. Even I have like 18 con, I'd say I just look somewhat bruised, but I'm not exhausted
I
in any
think
manner.
more so that by the morning those bruises will probably have healed, right? That's the shell and constitution effect is like you still like you would still look like you've worked out right now, but in the morning you'll look exactly fresh and new.
Okay, because I also I thought it might also apply in terms of like how much energy drainage I feel from something like this.
I think if you were thinking like if you sparred with a normal person, that would be true, but because both of you are enhanced, you probably still look like someone who had like gone through a normal situation of that regard, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess Uther shares that Mistle will be the 5th for Class 1.
Do we know anything about her weapon? What she fights with?
Hearns to Caliban.
Pardon?
Do you know what Mistral fights with?
I don't know.
I don't think you've ever seen her fight, and I don't think she's come. She's probably not wearing her weapons when you do your work together. So maybe, yeah, you probably don't.
Well, this will be interesting.
So we have like a fifth enemy and a fifth unknown who knows how we fight in totality, but we don't know. So basically, they have a surprise for us.
What? It feels a little wrong to be talking about the other class like this. But what all do we know about their weaknesses?
Know what we have learned since the last fight.
Casper's weak to thunder.
Somebody say something, please.
Something.
What?
Oh, okay. Everything was so quiet, I wasn't sure if my Discord dropped. Okay. Do we have anything that we can surprise them with? I think of too much on my end.
Room, but that's not exactly a surprise.
My relic stuff isn't really useful for mid-combat. Do we even get to use Crystalm in this fight?
Oh yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. My warding bonded aid.
I have Spirit Guardians, Vortex Warp, and Mirror Image.
I point at one of my barrack smiters. Do any of you want one of these? Could be useful for electric damage.
I already have some channeled into my weapon.
Alright, I take it that no then. Alright. I'll work with that.
Might need one, I'll be honest.
Alright. I'm pretty sure, like, Sam, in terms of, like, these embarrassed smiters, we... okay, it just reconnected me.
Yeah, so you can have as many of them as you... Well, I mean, you can each attune to one set, right? Like, that's the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, like, it's a contraption that you can attach to your blade, which I think is, like, big as enough that it should be easy to do however you imagine. It's basically a shard in an enclosure that can be triggered through a rune. You just need to figure out how to channel energy into that rune to trigger the breakage of the shard essentially.
Which is fine because it's just a shell application at that point. But yeah, it's prof mods 2d8 lightning smites per long rest basically.
An attunable thing?
It is an attunable.
Yeah.
So if I do that, I have less crystal.
Yes, you would need to lose a crystal for it. So
I might switch up one of my crystals then.
If anyone wants to swap anything out, now is the time to do it.
I will swap out Mirror Image for Fireball.
Okay.
Are the other party members still alive? I'm like, is it only like Uther, you and me?
I just don't really have anything to add.
Oh, okay.
Like you've all just bounced back immediately back and forth to each other. Like I'm not going to interrupt someone to say nothing.
What a polite noblewoman.
Yeah, some of us were raised right.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Why are we bullying the orphan?
To be fair, she invites
bully
it.
that man. I do.
In which case, do you want to just cut to Friday to combat practice? I don't think there's anything else to get between you there and that, unless there is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Right. You wake that morning. Axel is sort of there to take you down the lift into the lower levels. As Axel's kind of riding the lift down, he says, I assume you all looked into who the extra is?
Yeah.
I was surprised she
To some degree.
volunteered, but she was... I think she's looking to keep busy.
You know who she's facing?
Sorry, Atir?
Did she know who she was facing?
Yes, I told them that they would be facing Class 10.
There is a brief moment where Adhira's eyes glance over to Clara.
Don't look at me, I'm not surprised.
Well, she's probably going to gun for you first. There's probably a lot pent up frustration.
It's not my fault she's a jackass.
See, I
Thought she
mean,
was a sheep.
true, but
2d8 Uther, lightning. Prof mod times prolong rest. Axel just says, as long as we keep it mostly friendly, I know it's a fight.
Figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Then that goes for both sides, I assure you.
I'm actually not. 1 second. I take it here to the side. Actually, nah, not taking it to the side. Here, how well can you cloak Andress, given that you two are giving each other eyes?
Oh, are you? This is the "Are you compromised" time.
Are you asking me if I cannot hit Andres? I mean, I'm not going to go for him first, but I won't have a problem.
Okay.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
I don't have a problem
Are you
fighting
okay?
him.
What the hell?
Are you okay, ISO? I think, ISO, you're having connection problems.
I think Iso's dying.
Yeah,
I think we gotta put him out of his misery.
I think you might be having, I think sometimes you can't hear us, and it's causing a little bit
Sigrid
of
hit him
confusion.
too hard.
Oh no, he's concussed.
If Adhira said anything, I didn't hear anything.
Interesting. So you're only not hearing it here, which is...
Wow. It's kind of black, isn't it?
Yeah. I can't believe you said that. Fucking hell.
You really played that fucking card.
Yes!
Oh my god. Can you hear everyone now?
Now I can hear.
Cool.
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay, for everybody in the recording, this is an audio experience. Capri is a white man.
You
The
can't-
whitest.
You can't just do Capri like that.
No,
Yeehaw!
I don't want to catch the splashback from this.
Yeah, you
No,
be
I'm
careful,
giving it a
Southern
buzz.
man.
So,
I have
um,
no idea what just happened.
Texas.
Yeah, and you're
We were
adjacent.
after the elevator ride down, you're led to one of the combat rooms. Door opens up, and the 5 opponents are already sort of waiting there in like a loose formation, talking to each other. Andress stands at the head of the other 4. The other 4 are sort of like clustered around him. He turns around and Andress kind of gives a nod to your class and says, looking forward to seeing how much you've grown. And hopefully how much we have.
You too, Habibi.
Anyway, that's the end of the session.
Can he say that? Is he allowed to say
he's just fucking doing it all today.
Yeah, what are you, Roach?
If we had an audience, we don't now.
Let
We're
me
canceled.
haul us across to a combat room before I kill you in real
Good
life.
God.
Oh,
Go ahead and put yourself.
Does he react to that though?
Do you say that?
Yeah, I'm
this is
fostering
you're
him.
not just being a
Uh,
shit. You're
I-
being in character. What
he-
the fuck?
Yes.
I genuinely think he probably does not understand what you just said and just like raises an eyebrow and says, I'll ask you what that means after this.
Oh, I needed to roll. Oh, I
Can
only
you
have
stop
one.
committing race crimes and tell me where you want to be placed on this map?
I have a question real quick. Have we at any point had what was considered a long rest?
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
last Sunday, technically. So, like 4 days ago.
Okay, why the fuck am I still at, like, no resources? 1 second. Let me just click this handy dandy long rest button.
The question I ask myself is, which of you makes the most sense as a warding bond target?
Oh wow, I rolled.
Actually, I would just give it to Atira because she's so mobile. Actually, no, giving it to Atira, as given that how mobile she is, might actually be the worst idea.
What are you giving me? Warding bond?
I'm contemplating who to give warding bond, but giving you warding bond means you're shackled within 60 feet of me, basically.
Oh.
Uh,
Well, when we get into it, it won't be as much of a shackle.
Niall and Casper both stand with like katanas at the waist. Thumb like unclips the katana just that like first bit, so you can see a slight bit of the metal. Chiruru has her 2 like SMG tonfa weapons in hand. Andrus puts his hand out and dazzling starlight coalesces into a huge lance that kind of then rests across his shoulders. And Mistle pulls 2 rapiers, one that she has in each hand.
Oh, fuck!
Uther, please give me a history check with advantage.
Oh boy, am I figuring out? Am I learning something? Is my
You-
brain expanding?
You may.
Do I know who she is now?
I think you might in a second.
Nope.
I did say with advantage, so you do have a second roll.
Oh, I missed that one.
It's
Oh,
all
second.
good. 13. The blades are both very interesting in appearance. One of them has a spiral along it, made of 2 different materials intertwined, but with like a slight gap in the middle. So there's like a hollow space that runs through the middle, and a crystal rod runs all the way through the center, from the handle of the blade all the way up through like just short of the tip of the weapon, being probably one of the largest pieces of exposed crystal you've seen, not in like a train or something like that. The other weapon is the one you recognize, Uther. That is made of the bones of, the iron dragon bones that are kind of littered around the city that attract lightning strikes. Her sword is forged from a handle to the very tip of iron dragon bone.
Nope.
Oh no, not two, Laban.
I was trying to open the thing.
It's all good.
How common
Literally
is it
basically
to
like
like
all Foxy's
actually
weapons.
have a weapon that is made of said bone?
It is not.
I assume it's
Yeah, because the material is so built into the infrastructure of Dulukop's like city, like the main sort of like urban and industrial area, it's very, very valuable and isn't often used for anything else.
Oh, she's noble. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Clara, she's just like you.
I'm not
Don't ever.
barbarian.
She's just like you, for real, for real.
I'm gonna be real,
Oh, shit.
guys. That is one, the most amount of Iron Dragon Bone I've seen in one weapon ever, and two, the most amount of magic crystal in one weapon ever.
Oh, fuck. Clara on her hater arc.
It's not me. It's the adherer roll.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Do you want to lie and just take that anyway? So you can't be on your...
Statistically, it would probably be better, but no.
I appreciate your honesty.
Also, the turn order will sell me out in like 0.2 seconds anyway.
Axel's rules are keep it as civil as possible. If your shell barrier is broken, you kind of extricate yourself to the fight, walk off to one side, and allow it to continue. And it's last man standing kind of thing. You fight until the last member is unable to fight. Any questions?
Nope.
Alright, statistically, who is the weakest member of this group? Of our
The
group?
last time we fought them, I think Niall went down first.
Hmm.
No, I mean of our group.
Oh. Well, depends what you mean by weakest.
Strictly speaking,
Most who's gonna the one who can take the least amount of hits and then go down.
I think I'm the most
This-
fragile, but I can also become invisible on command pretty easily.
I think it's sort of between.
Clara hasn't.
It's kind of between Uther and Atira, but Uther now has uncanny dodge. Because obviously
And
Clara.
then here and there has the warding bond.
Oh, Atira's warding bond as well. So actually, you guys are pretty. Like, as long as you're not getting technically hit, you're actually fairly sturdy as a group.
You also have all +5 max HP because I cast 8 on everyone.
Wait, how much?
Oh, how much?
+5, 8
Plus-
level 2.
+5. Oh. Yeah, +5.
Okay.
Caliban, you have the initiative. What do you want to do?
I think, being me, I think I'll put myself between me and the rest of the team, so they go after. They're less inclined to go after the squishier members.
Making yourself a target, got ya.
2, 3, 4, and what's one of the actions that I can take? A dodge action or whatever?
Yeah, you take a dodge action just to put yourself on the defensive, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving forward, taking the dodge action, kind of making yourself a target in front of everyone else. Atira.
You're muted.
I think they've got to swap over.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to dodge over to get mine. First or turn order. Keep that there. Measuring. I don't think I can move up, actually. Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to sort of move off to the side, not try and make the first hit, but I am going to use the time to cast Spirit Guardian. So I'm going to move over here, closer to Dather, and pull a crystal from within my hood, channel it, and a sort of, a green aura surrounds me. And flitting around are these little, like, you know the meme of Kermit the Frog being confronted by himself in a Reaper's hood?
Yes.
There's a bunch of these frogs clad in Reaper's hoods holding sickles, like jumping around through the air, bouncing off of invisible surfaces. They look adorable. They look humorous. They will cut things.
I assume that's a necrotic damage variation, yeah?
That will be.
Okay. And you are concentrating on that, if I recall correctly?
Yes.
Okay. That's your turn.
I will spend a key point to take the dodge action. So let me just set that. Alright. And then that will be my turn.
Chiruru will start by casting haste on themselves. They are going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they are also going to take the dodge action up in the corner there. Clara.
I just need to double check something real quick. Oh, this might be a bit awkward. Yeah, okay. I am going to go and crush a crystal that I swapped out recently, and I am going to cast Slow.
Yeah, targeting. Is it?
It's a 40-foot cube, so I'm just going to go for like these section.
And they're wisdom throws, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Casper.
Does slow technically counteract haste?
I think the abilities somewhat do, because it's like +2 and -2, advantage and disadvantage, but I think some of the abilities don't. They don't like directly counter each other. Wisdom saving throw for Casper. 21 rolled really well. Wisdom for Andrus. Did not roll as well. Mistle, wisdom saving throw. Not as well. And I think Niall's also in it, yeah?
Yep, it's those 4.
17. So 2 failures, 2 successes. I think the center 2 get hit as time dilates and they are both slowed.
Wonderful. I will spend my bonus action to take the hide action.
Yeah, go ahead. Hiding, using Dafer as a blocking line of sight.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah, give me a stealth check.
Okay. 21.
21, you definitely managed to hide between the interplay of Dafer and a swarm of Kermit frogs.
I am hidden. That'll be my turn.
It is Casper's turn. She is going to... she will first move 30 feet. And then she will bonus action Misty Step using a crystal. 30 feet as well. Literally like shadow stepping, appearing behind Caliban, and she will action surge and attack Caliban 4 times. Natural 1 misses, 11 misses, natural 1 misses, 21 Caliban.
My AC is 21.
So hits.
That's the only thing that hits.
10 damage goes through.
I'll parry that.
That
because takes off my
dodging.
Off Oh.
Yeah, but yeah. Go ahead and parry. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. So that was 5 temporary HP.
Did you roll for the parry?
1d4 plus 2 max.
No. The how much was the temporary HP that Dafer gave?
5.
Okay.
No, 6.
6 temp
1d4
HP,
plus 2.
6 temp HP, and 5 max HP from aid. 2 different things.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, if it's 4 temp HP in total, can I just say that I spent my superiority die and just not roll, because that's just going to be a 4.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so with your parry and the temp HP afforded by Dafer, you do manage to absorb the blow. Is that you?
That'll be all.
Mistle is slowed. If she wants to cast a spell, she's got to do the funky dice roll, doesn't she? What does she want to do? We're at half movement speed, I think. Yeah, can't use reactions. Either action or bonus action. Okay, she is going to move 15 feet this way. And Atira, can you give me a deception check, please?
Yes.
I actually can't roll less than a 15 on insight checks, so that is 18. And it is meted to beat it, unfortunately. Mistle is observing you very closely, Atira. Dafer, that is... Oh, Mistle gets a wisdom save at the end of her turn. But remains slowed. Dafer.
Don't have to be fast to observe me.
Dafer, knowing how mean of a punch Atira can pack, does take extra precaution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I will take an attack of opportunity as you pass by.
That actually I can just.
Oh, okay, you're just moving slightly to the left. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. And I think that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that works out. Daper is going to use this position to target Nile with 2 ranged attacks, basically recklessly.
Yeah.
So he puts himself up in a position, knows he's directly in line of sight of Mistle, but he completely ignores her, focusing entirely on Nile, shooting 2 punches in his direction. However, before I do that, I naturally charge up with Overload.
Yeah.
That, and then 2 attacks with Sooner. That is with Overload. That is. I'm gonna make the first attack Thunder.
Okay.
That misses, I believe.
No, you're at advantage, right? You were being reckless.
Long range. No.
Long range. Okay, in which case 6 misses. Yeah, it just dodges out of the way.
Yeah. Second Thunder attack.
22 would hit for 5 damage. However, as a reaction, they basically swing their blade and cause an equal negative air pressure wave. As the 2 air pressure waves collide, they both dissipate equally in the middle between the 2 of you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would that still count for the purpose? Like, strictly speaking, Nile was hit, so does that? He just didn't take damage, correct?
Monk deflect missile. I'm flavoring it as equalizing pressure. No damage was taken. I don't know. I wouldn't say that you managed to hit them for the purpose of disadvantage.
Okay. In that case, that is still my turn.
Okay.
I'm staying where I am.
It is Andrus's turn. They are just going to move forward 15 feet. And choices. Are any of them good choices? Is going to try and cast a spell, so I need to roll a d20. 19, which I think means it does go off this turn. Let me just double check.
No, it's the opposite way around. That's what I would have thought. On an 11 or higher, the spell doesn't take effect until the creature's next turn, and must use its action on that turn to complete the spell.
Okay.
If it can't, the spell is wasted.
In which case, it is Andrus, surrounded by just an array of constellations that are like ticking like a clock forward, but in slow motion towards the moment of it casting, is concentrating on continuing this calculation of fate towards whatever spell they're going to cast. It is Niall's turn. Is going to use their 3rd level Dispel Magic Crystal to target Mistle and remove the effect from her. As an action, that's that crystal gone. And then they are going to move into position sort of just off of Andrus here, and that is their turn. Caliban.
Turning back around to fight.
Yeah.
What's her face?
Casper.
Okay.
23 does hit. 9 damage. Your swords clash, but you manage to like curve it round and graze across the surface of the shell as sparks fly between the two of you. Yeah. 25 hits as well. 6 damage goes through as well. You scratch across the shell, but actually what you see is like the bolstering light of Andrus having protected their teammates with some form of divine providence. You're managing to scratch through this outer layer of fate, essentially, your blade is clashing against.
Offhand dagger.
Critical hit.
Shit.
Another 2 points of damage as you do manage to find purchase, finally actually getting through that layer of golden energy through to the shell underneath.
What is? Do they also have temp HP, or is that just the shell itself?
They do have temp HP. Yeah, Andrus has a temp HP ability as well.
Ah, yes.
That you, Caliban?
That'll be all for me.
Atira.
Alright. So, actually. There, I'm gonna unmute on that. She is going to move forward to stay closer to Dather. And looking at the layout of the enemies, she is going to lift her hand and a small bead of red-hot fire forms as she winks at Andrus and says, "A test of your reflexes." And she casts Fireball right there.
Okay, that's a dexterity saving throw for him.
For him.
Fails.
And
Niall,
for Mistle and Niall.
yeah, dex for Niall, 17, and for Mistle, 21.
Okay. So, 8d6.
Yes.
Click here. Almost at 8d20. 31.
31 points of damage. You watch as the flame roasts through the barrier protecting Andrus that Andrus had on himself. And for the other two, it basically just about manages to break that protection on them as well. But Andrus looks at you as you say test a reflex and does not dodge at all. Just stands there in the flame as golden light wars against fire, and the two boom, nullifies those two. You are right, I forgot a wisdom saving throw for him. Did fail that, and now needs to make a constitution saving throw. The DC is it 15? Half the damage, right? Yeah.
15, yeah.
Fails, and the spell they were concentrating on casting is dissipated as that energy that was stored up manages to buffet away the flames, but has to be used for that purpose, Atira.
Now, Casper is in my aura.
I can't remember, is it whenever they... Because Spirit Guardians has some funny triggering. I can't remember if it's
Sammy's looking it up.
End of their turn.
But I think it's the first time they enter the aura.
I think you're right. I just can't remember.
They have to enter.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's the first time they enter or if they start there, and if you moving into them doesn't count as them. And do you know what I mean?
It starts its turn. Yeah, so when she starts her turn, it's going to be.
Yeah, perfect. I thought as much,
Okay.
but yeah, good to know.
All right. That is it.
It is Ruru's turn. 60-foot hasted Ruru can't hurt you. She isn't real. Sorry, 80
I
foot.
pretend he doesn't exist.
Wait, where's Uther? Oh,
I'm 12.
you're not on the
You-
initiative.
I can see him.
I rolled. I got like an 18.
Give me 1 second, buddy. Let's get you in this.
You need to select your token, otherwise it doesn't go on.
I did.
It's all
And
good.
plus, roll 20 is supposed to just do that if you forgot to click it.
It's all good.
He stealth so hard he hid from the DM.
Uther, go ahead and take a turn here, and then we'll get over to Ruru.
Yeah, I was.
I think he does a second turn.
Did that.
Uther, what would you like to do?
I don't want to be within range of the high speed cannon, but I don't think I have a choice in that matter.
It's very difficult not to be in range, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm going to come here and be a problem for this one.
Okay.
This is the first time the sword has been drawn.
You have advantage.
I have advantage.
21 hits. Yeah. Having moved herself in quickly, trying to get a hit on a Caliban, Caliban's impressive defenses holds her, and Uther, you sneak up behind, get your hit in. What I'll say is, I'll take Chiruru's turn next, and I'll actually give you it because you missed a turn, Uther. So I'll have Chiruru take her turn.
I thought that had been taking a while, but I had been tabbed into
It's all
checking
good.
on something else, and I'm like, man, this is taking forever.
It's all good. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 85.
Ah!
Yes, right there. Moving with incredible speed, just zipping around this corner towards you, is going to raise the dual weapons towards you, Uther, and start firing. Is also going to imbue these rounds with like using different arcane ammos to take these shots. First shot is 27, Uther.
There is no way in any reality I can avoid that.
You take 6 piercing, you take 5 necrotic, and I need a wisdom saving throw.
Damn, you don't roll much. Okay, fuck me.
You are blinded until the end of Chiruru's next turn, Uther, which means this second shot does come at advantage.
Then I'm going to have the damage on that first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Volley.
So, I think it's 11 half to 5. 14, I think, misses you anyway, even with your disadvantage, as you just kind of duck to take cover.
Yeah.
It is your turn, Uther. You are blinded, unfortunately, but it is your turn. And then we'll go to Clara after this. I'm just going to try and keep that straight in my head.
I lost 5. That's fine. Well, I'm in a pickle anyway, so, cunning action. That's not a cunning action to aim.
No.
We call it cunning action aim.
Sorry, it's a bonus action to aim.
Yeah, I know. So a cunning action is also a bonus action.
Yes.
Aim
Yeah.
not being a cunning action is like some goofy ass shit.
Yeah.
So I just call it a cunning action to be funny. So I'm going to roll straight.
Yeah.
And... cannot get sneak attack on that one. But that's okay.
Uh, 22, yeah, even if I try and parry, that still hits.
Yeah, that's going on Speed Demon over here.
Oh, ooh, give me 1 second.
Sword's got reach, remember?
Yeah, I do remember now. I actually think that is going to hit, even with the +2 AC from haste. Yeah, hits. 12 damage and a DC 10 concentration save. What? Yep. as the strike comes out blind, big wide sword, Drew's not expecting you to take that kind of slash. Does impact the shell, rattles, but manages to hold on to the spell.
Slowed by 10 feet.
Slowed by 10 feet, I'll keep that in mind.
Not that it matters, but it makes me feel good.
That you, Uther?
Yeah.
Clara.
Okay, I am successfully hidden.
Yes.
So I'm going to take my opportunity to shuffle 1 step to the side so that I can take a nice clean shot all the way across the battlefield.
I
Yeah.
imagine as you say that, you're like crab walking.
She's far too elegant for that.
Bye, crab.
Right,
Become as crab.
check that that does have the things on it. Right, so 14. I'm not going to take the risk. I need this to be pretty good. So I'm going to spend a charge of the hand grip and turn that 14 into an 18.
18 would hit, but the crystal saber flares up and reflexively shield as is cast. Able to deflect the attack at the last second.
I will spend my... do I want to spend... Yeah, I'm going to spend a charge. Yeah, I'm going to spend a patience charge to go into stealth without having to roll. I'm a bit more in the open this time.
Yeah, got you. As you manage to then re-duck behind the Adhera Dafer wall of blocking and distraction. Yeah?
Yeah, that'll be my turn.
Okay. Casper, not in the best of places, does need to give us a wisdom saving throw. 12, I think, would fail. I think it's 3d8 damage, Adhera?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Trying to find that unmute button.
No worries. You want to roll damage for it?
Yes, please. Where's the table? Oh, I'll go manually.
That's all good.
3d8.
Yep. 6 damage. Not the best of damages, but does manage to catch her at the edge of this field. Can see things are not going well. Takes a moment to focus. Is going to bonus action Fighting Spirit, getting a little bit of temp HP. And has advantage on every attack till the end of her turn.
Nightmare.
I think she will go for... I think Uther, seeing that you're blinded, even though she already has advantage, she'll go for you. Natural 20.
Oh, shit.
And 19, Uther.
Can't do shit for that.
That is 14 damage and 14 damage. 28 points of damage as 2 big, heavy swings of her katana impact into you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have one of those 14s.
I actually think you can't. Uncanny Dodge says an attack you can see. I think I forgot that, but I might be wrong.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
You too, then.
Yeah, I'm afraid you got direct countered there, unfortunately. But that is Casper's turn. It is Mistel's turn.
It's not a good feeling.
That's about me out of this fight. I'm gonna be fucking honest with you.
Missile will move 30 feet. Bonus action dash into here. She makes a wisdom saving throw as she enters the cloud. Takes damage. Do you want to roll me 3d8?
Yes, I will, but whenever a affected creature enters the area, its speed is halved.
Give me 1 second. So I think she technically gets to here. Takes 17 damage. Big hit. She takes her dragon iron blade, sparks the other blade across it. You watch as lightning kind of courses around the room as all the ambient static electricity gathered everywhere. Some of the ambaric shards that are on Dafer and Uther sort of shift some of their energy out. It all coalesces into the blade. She will point it at Adhira and in the general direction of where Clara was, and casts lightning bolt. I need dexterity saving throws from both of you.
Fuck. Oh.
So I'm killing her.
That succeeds.
I'm just wondering, because based on like where she's aiming it from, there's no actual straight line that gets both of us.
It is a 5 foot wide line, so I think she actually can, just by, I think someone else had it there, that she can kind of clip it like this. Alternatively, when she was moving in, she could have cast it this way as well.
Could I argue that I can make the save at advantage because she can't pinpoint exactly where I am?
That is fair, yes. I would argue that is correct.
Yeah,
So both make the
Didn't
save.
even need it.
So that is 29 points of damage, halved for both of you to, I think that would be 14, wouldn't it?
And then I just take 7 because Warding Bond.
Yes, so Dafer and Adhira take 7, and Adhira I need a DC 10 concentration.
Yes. Temp HP first.
I calculated temp HP in it.
Okay.
Look at you working together.
I'm afraid, Adhira, your spell does drop at that moment.
Okay.
That is Mistel's turn. She had to use her bonus action and everything else. Dafer.
Spotting a decent opportunity. Dafer will go for Juru, I think. Between Niall and Juru, I think Niall is Juru is the more obvious target because of how much of a shitty position Uther is in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is possible because barbarians get +10 movement speed at level 5.
Dafer's got legs.
Yay!
He didn't
Up to
skip
speed.
leg day.
As the
All that running was good for something.
as the heavy object collides with the very fast moving object. Yeah, what do you want to do?
At full, just full on assault, like basically just barrel into Juru at first. Like that's, I'm just gonna that's gonna be a thunder electricity charge punch flavored as just me bodying Juru.
Yes.
Or
Lightning
an
shoulder
attempt to
check.
body Juru anyway. At advantage.
Yeah, reckless.
That. Oh, actually, no, I can't. That's boot attack. So that's my boot. That's 18.
18 would hit, but because of hasted, as you like slide in with the boot attack, just like jumps up and over as you slide underneath.
In that case, second boot attack, like I drop forward onto my hand, and my legs kick backward.
You like handspring back, yeah.
Yeah. That's also overload. That's another lightning boot. At advantage 21.
21 does hit as you manage to catch them in midair. That is 10 lightning damage.
That immediately gets a smite attached to it.
Yeah.
So that's another 10.
An additional 10 damage, but that still is a DC 10 concentration save for haste.
Yeah.
23, as you do clip them. They kind of spin in mid-air, but they're able to put their momentum, their center of balance land on their feet as the two of you are stood next to each other now.
However, they are now tagged.
Yes.
Which means
disadvantage
that one. And
if not you, yeah.
And I still have my bonus action, which I will use to essentially just put my arm out and try to not a haymaker. What do you do with if you just put your arm out and
clothesline,
like a half spin? Line.
Lariat.
A lariat is actually probably the more correct term, yeah.
Overload, that is a gauntlet attack. I'm gonna make that one a thunder one with the gauntlet. That's a 16 misses.
A 16 misses, yeah. It's just too quick. That you hit like an after image of how quickly Jaruru is moving.
Mm-hmm. That's my turn.
Alternatively, over here in still slowed land, 5, 10, 15. Luckily for Andrus, the lance does have reach. But they can only have one attack, I believe, under slow. So just going to lance attack towards you, Caliban. 9 misses you. Alright. Wisdom saving throw, end of Andrus's turn. 13, I believe, still fails. I think it's like 14, 15 is the DC. Either way, it is Niall's turn.
I'm facing off against 2 of the people that I got the last shot in.
Niall moves into this spot here and is going to target it here. 9 misses, 14 at here.
Misses.
Bonus action martial arts. 14 misses as well. All 3 strikes miss. But you recognize the shift of energy as you stunned Niall last time. You can see Niall is out for you, Atira, this fight, trying to get you back for that. Caliban.
Alright, let's see. What am I working with? I'll focus back on... I'll still focus on her.
Yeah. Still targeting Casper. Manages to block your attack this time. 14, 2 swords meet. 11, unfortunately no advantage. So
Niall came after me.
You crit again with the dagger.
Jesus.
6 points of damage do make it through to the shell. Casper, having last time the two of you sort of dueled like this as well, you know she can take a lot of hits, and so can you. So yeah, this is the situation you find yourself in again, Caliban, the two of you wailing on each other.
That's great.
Anything else from you, Caliban? No movement, or?
That'll be all.
Atira, you've got a sort of 2-on-1 situation here.
Yeah. I am going to flourish my scythe and swing at Niall.
Yep.
First attack. 13 will miss.
13 does miss, deflected by a katana.
Mobile will let me move over to...
Mistle?
Her. Yes. I am going... One second, I need to look up what this spell does completely.
Oh no.
Yes. She is going to pull a sort of trigger on the shaft of Comson, causing the cylinder in its main head to spin, lock into place, and then fire as necrotic energy swirls along the blade. She is going to make a attack with Wrathful Smite.
Yeah.
Make an attack. 13 miss.
13 does miss, raises both rapiers in a cross and manages to catch it under the hook of the scythe and just push it to one side as the necrotic energy. I believe it remains though, right? I think you have concentration. It's until you hit or.
And I am going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to sort of move into a safer position, and that will be my turn.
Uther, unfortunately, because Chiru's after you, you are still blinded at the moment, but it is your turn. In a tough
First
spot.
things first. One of these days, I'll have a character that can take more than one attack per fight. But clearly, not this time.
Nailed with some gnarly crits, yeah.
Oh, a 6. That's nice. Okay.
6 temp HP?
Yep. I was hoping for a slightly bigger number than that. I'm a be completely real with you.
Oh, it's a D10, I see.
Yeah. I'm still blind, but I know they're still there.
Yes. Still after Chiruru.
Yes.
Okay.
Disadvantage. Can I get sneak attack on a disadvantage strike if there's an ally nearby, or does disadvantage completely turn off sneak attack?
So disadvantage
Nullify it.
disadvantage turns off sneak attack, but because you used obviously your bonus action from Form of Dread, you can't use aim. But yeah.
I
You
was
knew
just
that.
double checking since there was. I was just, like I said, just double checking to see if the ally being there
No,
negated the
unfortunately.
negation.
Unfortunately, disadvantage negates the sneak.
Okay.
Ah,
15
15
will
will miss.
I have not taken movement yet.
Nope.
Can't see shit, but 2, 3. Yeah, what? 2 back, bump into you. One here. Yep. They can make opportunity attacks, but they are at disadvantage.
I think she probably would take the opportunity while she's still standing. Like you said, disadvantage. 10 misses as you move back. Dodges by it. Uther, I suppose that's you. Drew is going to, I think, just dance around Dafer a little bit. Swap to Crash and attempt to hit him repeatedly with a stick. 25, 26, hasted action, 21, action surge, 10, and 23.
Besides the 10, all of those hit.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you are like hit from 3 different directions, and then the 4th blow comes from behind. Boom! Just rapid flurry of blows from Taru, and obviously all of those are half, so 4 on all. Clara.
This is becoming quite annoying.
Bit of a melee.
Yeah, I think I've got to take the chance where I can get it. Because I'm still sneaky-ish. I think I have to go for one of these two. I'm going to try and take out Mistle again.
Yeah, you have advantage.
19.
19 does hit.
Okay. This has a lot of riders on it. 23.
Now, I think because you attacked from hidden, that counts as an unseen attack. I don't think she can uncanny it, right? I would say no.
Yeah, I would say it's something. I also don't have sharpshooter on that, despite the fact I have it on the roll.
Oh, go ahead and add
So
it in.
it's plus another 10. It's
Yep.
just flat 10.
Oh, plus another 10?
So 33, yeah.
Clara, as Mistel's eyes are tracking Adhira, as like Null and her manage to push back, she kind of steps forward confidently. Your blade comes from nowhere out of her blind spot, shifts from her focus. She is knocked to 0 with that big heavy blow, unable to defend herself further.
One down, guys. I didn't need to expend. I was already hidden, so I'm a cunning action hide.
Yeah.
I'll give myself a little bit more distance, just so I'm not completely next to something that can go wrong. That's my turn.
It is Casper's turn. Keeping up, trying to, using her second fighting spirit, so she gets a little bit of temp HP back that she lost damage-wise. And she has advantage on her attack rolls, as it is time to attempt to hit Caliban.
What is this? Another
17, a natural 20.
shit. Yeah, okay.
19 points of damage, Caliban, do come through from that second strike.
I am.
Dayfra stole all the con.
Hold on, let me see. How much? Let me just check the parry real quick. What is that? I used 1d10s? Yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll parry it.
Yeah, go for it.
1d10 plus 4.
$13 reduction, so only 6 points of damage overall manages to get through your parrying blade.
Mm-hmm.
That you, Caliban? Oh, no, it's not
That'll
your
be
turn. No. Mistel kind of like skitters along the floor slightly after the impact. Smacks like her, the kind of hilt of her sword against floor in frustration, but stands up, gives a bow, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dayfra.
You know what? I give a look at Churu. I give a look back at Uther, and just while still keeping an eye on Churu, I just put one hand backward, aimed at Uther, and I just push a beam of light straight into him.
Yeah.
You feel yourself somewhat physically hit Uther, as that's 4d6 that I'm bumping into Italy. I count.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do 46. I can do 3d6. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, it's up to your prof mod, isn't it?
I think it's either prof mod or it was int mod, but either is only 3.
Okay.
So that is enough.
Oh, it's unfortunate rolls. But yeah, 5 health back to Uther.
Oh god. And then I continue to body Churu, hoping that he oh god,
I
will
think
not get any.
Chiruru uses whatever Chiruru wants in the moment, so it doesn't matter what you say, you're correct with Chiruru.
Churu's gender is just Churu.
Yes,
that's about it.
That is actually probably the most accurate description. It's probably better than what I've written in the bio, so yeah.
So that is the main attack. I'm just gonna keep bodying them, trying to use my physical mass with all the recklessness I can.
Yep, go for it.
It's a thunder gauntlet that I'm trying to shoulder check them. Again, they are not where I assume they are.
Misses as just like every time you're gonna punch, like takes a step to like left and then right, and then you're like body and like just trying to chase like this little moving object that zips around.
Somewhat desperate to get a hit in, because Andres is right there. Could spell Doom for Caliban. I'm gonna dance around Shiruru for one. I'm gonna try and tag Andres.
Yeah.
Main attack here. Overload here. That is again the thunder, but this time Ray. Actually, let me take that attack of opportunity
Yeah, we'll do it.
if there is one.
Misses.
Uh, attack. So, attack is overload. That is thunder at advantage. That's a 15 to hit.
I'm afraid it crashes against the sort of like divine barrier around Andrus. Doesn't go through, Dafer.
Fuck it. Yeah, me and rolls are just not where we should be. Having thus been utterly decimated by the defense of my colleagues, I'm just gonna circle back here.
Okay. Andrus is going to go 1-2. You can have an attack of opportunity if you. Actually, no, Caliban used parry,
No, I took
right?
no. I took my. I already used my reaction.
Andrus, using their action for the turn, raises their hands. Golden light appears, and much like Dafer, it pulses out and impacts into Casper, restoring a chunk of her shell barrier back to her. Wisdom saving throw. This time finally does manage to break out of slow in the middle of all of this. It is Niall's turn. Niall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And is going to target Caliban. 23, 16, and 24.
Yeah, two of those hit.
10 damage, and then 5 damage. I need a Constitution saving throw, please, Caliban, against being stunned. You are not stunned, as impacts into you. Perfect spot to break the flow of energy through your body, and then the flow of energy just redirects to a different, like, in a different way, immediately adapting to the impact. Caliban.
You know that scene from from that scene from Fate Zero where like Kiritsugu shoots Kirei
Yes.
with the gun, and then it goes through his wrist all the way up to his elbow, and then he just shifts his arm away, and the bullet just
flings out.
Exits out his
yeah. Redirects the bullet through his own body. Yeah. Caliban.
Bonus action, second wind.
Yeah.
Let me see how much. I haven't seen second wind in a while. How much is that? Okay. There it is. 1d10 plus fighter level, so 3d10 plus 4. Oh, god damn it. I forgot to do the,
nice try.
Ah.
Oh my god damn it. Manifested it.
Powerful. Oh my god, that is so stupid.
That's your bonus action? I assume you're attacking with your action, but...
Yeah. This one right here.
Yeah, moving to now.
Yeah, well, not exactly moving, but...
Gotcha. Moving attention.
Mm-hmm.
Natural 1 misses.
Oh, wow.
12 misses as well, I'm afraid. Caliban.
Fuck it, action surge.
Action surge it is. 23 will hit. 10 will miss. You do manage to get through, as your body, you go through the weird numb, you, try to strike out multiple times. Niall, having improved quite a bit very rapidly from the last fight, helps not being stunned the first round as well, does manage to parry most of them, but the last strike gets through.
Oh, that's good, that's good.
Atira.
Alright.
All right. She is going to run up to Andress, and she is going to swing with her scythe.
Yep.
19.
19 just hits. I don't think I've got anything I can do against that. No.
6 slashing, 5 necrotic, and he needs to make a whiz save.
Okay, so first of all, he takes the 11 points of damage. Who do you want to give a teamwork point to, because he is staggered by necrotic damage?
I'm going to give a teamwork point to Clara.
9 fails the whiz save.
Alright, so he is now afraid of me.
Oh, I shouldn't use that symbol. I'm using that for something else. As a reaction, I need you to make a wisdom save in return.
Yes, plus one. Yes, plus one. Yes, plus one.
4.
You take the 11 damage back in radiant damage as you are hit with an opposite and equal rebuke of your attack. It reflects off and you are hit with 11 radiant.
Okay, so I take
Does he have
5
the
damage?
radiant version of
You take
Infernal
5.
Rebuke?
Kind of.
I think, yeah. Dave, you also take 5 points.
Oh, yes, both of you 5, correct.
And I am going to turn to the side, just sort of spin, pull the trigger on Compson again as I load another one of the shells, and I'm going to swing at Casper.
Yeah.
Uh,
Same smite spell?
Oh, it's
Smite spell?
no, it
Oh.
is going to be Thunderous Smite.
That pushes her, yeah, if she fails to save. I can't remember now, but...
Yes.
Okay. So that hits.
Yeah, I'm just pulling it up here so I can see it. Rolling damage. 2 thunder.
So it's 7 points of damage total. And then she has to make a constitution or a strength saving throw. I can't actually remember.
She has to make a strength saving throw. She will also need to make a con saving throw because I'm going to pour spirit point into this and try and stun block her.
I think 16 makes the save. And 10 fails.
She is stunned.
You do manage to get a stun off here. Nice.
I am going to expend another spirit point and flurry of blows with my scythe as I just start wailing into her.
Should have been a bonus action to activate the smite.
Oh,
there.
yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
no worries. So you swing the blade. She blocks the main impact, but it travels through. The shockwave moves up the arm through the body, leaves her rattled, stunned in place, Atira. But yeah, that would be your bonus action. Moving away still, or
And I am going to circle back around to facing Andress.
gotcha. Uther.
Which one?
Just, I say, just
one of them is
hit,
stunned.
disengage, and disengage and get away.
One of them is stunned, though.
Which one is stunned?
This
The one
one's-
on the Casper.
Ah,
Can get Casper.
This one's got healing, though.
I mean, if he takes his turn healing, that's fine by me. Have you seen how hard he hits?
he'll eventually have to run out of heals. Then we jump him.
I think either of them are a good target. Whichever one you want to hit, Uther. It's pretty good.
I hate that I have to move up into his range because he's got that fucking lance.
He does, in fact, have lance.
And it's an immaterial thing, so there's no way to really force him to drop it.
Yeah, no, you can just reconjure it.
But yep, moving forward. The Amberic Smites are a reaction to trigger, yeah? Or are they...
No,
They
it's
have
like
reaction.
it's like
just a smite.
it's like smite on hit.
Oh, okay. I have moved up, so I cannot do the thing. Public roll. Roll. Sneak attack. And of course.
In his panic state, the defenses around him are much thicker, Uther. Your blade kind of scratches up against this swirling nimbus of protection.
Disengage.
Yeah.
Back to here, because I do not want to be in range of that bullshit. And that'll have to be me.
I don't think you landed a hit, did you, Dafer?
I did not.
In which
It
case,
sucked so bad.
hasted action disengage.
Well,
And is going to attack Adhira from the side here. 14 and 26. I think that 26 hits, yeah. I'm going to assume and roll. So that's 11 damage, Adhira, you would take.
You just the 5 on both me and Atira.
It would be 5 to both of you. Yeah, that's right. And that would make it Clara's turn.
Are either y'all not gonna talk?
I think they might be hot swapping it, so whenever I call for one of them, they probably have to swap.
Yeah, otherwise you get feedback through both. I am going to just take a shot at stunned Casper.
That makes sense to
Because-
me.
That makes plenty of sense. Yes. 22, 17.
17 would miss, just.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she's pretty defensive.
Would it?
I'm not gonna judge.
As the two tanks nod at each other, one of them drooling, but yeah.
It's a little awkward. I'm gonna spend my bonus action to just cast Healing Word
Yep.
on Uther.
Yep.
So
I'll take it.
7 health. Pretty decent. I'm gonna stay over here and wait for my next chance to miss something or one-shot somebody, and there's nothing in between. Oh, can you call in teamwork points even if you don't hit?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You can. So yeah.
Yeah, I will expend one of my teamwork points for Caliban to try and attack her.
Yeah, Caliban, you have an attack with advantage from the other side.
Right now?
Yeah.
All right.
That will hit. Struck from behind, takes 5 points of damage as, stunned, manages to get the hit in.
Cool. That's my turn.
Casper is stunned, so Dafer.
I am currently wondering.
Hey, forget her ass.
1 second. Think. Actually, I can do this. I think if I go here, I can just strike through the entire road through.
Yeah, that's 20 foot.
So basically, I'm just relying on like this. There is no skill involved in this. I'm just guessing that I'm not gonna hit anyone in between.
Well, I think the main thing
Waiting
is,
for
like,
the weave.
Chiruru's, like, moving around so much, you can just throw an attack in an area that you're pretty sure that Chiruru would probably end up there.
Like, move around so much, they are basically everywhere. So wherever I hit, I hit. So basically, I just wait for a lull in the movement in between everyone, and then I just recklessly dunk out to attack into general direction. Later, advantage, overload. I'm gonna make that one with thunder. 23.
Hits for 5 damage. Yeah.
Yep, they attack now. Con save, please.
We
Make
just
safe.
have to wear her down.
I am going to make. Oh, the gauntlets only have the thunder. Oh well, another thunder. 24.
Hits. This finally breaks haste. They will not be able to act on their turn as they take an additional 10 damage as well. The big wave of air pressure buffets through off their feet, kind of sends them scrambling across the ground, and the spell ends, and lethargy hits, and is suddenly like half-closed eyes, like sleepy looking around.
Sugar crashed. Okay, therefore, I could take attacks of opportunity if I want to. Actually, taking an attack of opportunity here is actually better than having Casper wail on me. I'll take that one.
Casper is stunned, can't take attacks of opportunity.
Okay, right. Then I position myself this way. That seems smarter.
Okay, Andrus's turn. He is going to he's gonna steel himself against his fear and strike out at Atira. First attack. 8 misses. 12 misses as well. 2 big sweeps of the lance miss you. And as a bonus action, I don't think there's too much they can do. So nope, yep. That is them. It is Niall's turn.
Move idea. Oh my god.
This is a cluster that makes using AoEs very difficult, isn't it? We're like you, me, you, me, you, me formation at the moment. I think Niall's just gonna strike at Dafer. 19 and 16.
Actually, double 25, but both of them.
Right. And I need a Constitution saving throw against being stunned, Dafer.
Okay. I roll the second damage as well. Actually, yeah. That's a Constitution saving throw. That's a 20.
You make the save, so that's 7 and 6 damage.
I was gonna say, like, he's a barbarian. He'll tank you, but I didn't want to put that jinx out in the universe.
I'm gonna use my 4th key point for a flurry of blows against Dafer. 12 and 22, so 22 hits for another 2 points of damage, Dafer. Caliban.
Aspar is a problem, but she's predictable.
She's also stunned until the end of Atira's turn, so you've got advantage right now.
You know what? Yeah, I'll take advantage of that.
24 hits. 6 damage goes through.
Ah, fuck.
11 misses, just impacting into the hard shell that she uses. 20 hits. Another point of damage. To manage to scratch, as it is a game of slowly wearing each other down. You realize Casper would be down by now if not for the intervention of Andrus and the large amount of energy poured into her shell by him.
Alright.
That you, Caliban?
That'll be the end of my turn. Yeah, that's the end of my turn.
Atira.
Oh, you boy. I'm going to lift my scythe and running my hand alongside the wood of the shaft, I am going to pull out this sort of greenish necrotic energy and channel a level 1 necromancy spell for free as I make a melee spell attack with inflict wounds.
Okay. Spooky if hit.
Against... Yep. 18.
18 is one short of hitting Atira. As the energy pulses forward, you meet the golden resistance and the two negate each other before you can make full contact.
Okay. Let me just... Oh, there's a 1d4. I am going to... I lie. I will use Terminus's Fight. For my bonus action, I will burst. Let me just sort of change.
Is that a deck save or a con save? I can never remember.
I believe it is a deck save. Let me just double check once more. I believe it will be 15 feet. Yeah, dexterity save. Everything within 10 feet of me.
Okay,
every
so
creature of my choice.
Casper fails by default as well, so
Yes.
Chiruru takes nothing, but the other two are hit.
Taru takes nothing?
They made the save. 22, right?
Oh, okay.
On the haste end.
Haste doesn't stun you. You can't take actions. Both of them are buffeted by the wave of force, Atira. Oh, Atira, the fear, is that one turn or is that?
As long as I can maintain concentration, which is why I rolled con through earlier.
And
So-
do they get saves at the end of each turn?
No, they do not.
As an action, they can make a wisdom check. Okay. They have to use an action to do it.
I will sort of rotate around to this direction. And in my turn.
Andrus can't make an attack of opportunity, and Chiruru can't either, neither action. Yeah, cool. Uther. Oh, Casper no longer stunned.
Done. Spacing. Boy, this is just a whole cluster of people that really need to not be in this fight.
They're definitely dancing around each other a lot. There's a lot of inter-movement.
Yes, there is.
Wait. Oh no, it's not necrotic, it's force damage. Damn it, I thought I staggered him again.
No, you didn't, unfortunately.
Nope. Who do I want to hit? Who looks the lowest out of this cluster of people?
Actually, Chiruru at this point.
They also can't retaliate easily because they are at disadvantage on anything.
No, not that. There's 5, 10, 15, 20. Big slash.
17 hits.
17 hits. Ready. No one around, so I can't sneak attack.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
So will that.
Right, but that's pretty much it, yeah.
Yep, I can smite, so I'll do that instead.
Yeah. 15 damage. Could not take another hit like that as the shell barrier light starts to flicker, barely holding integrity at that point, Uther.
Slowed by 10 feet.
Yep.
Back down to here.
That you?
Yep, that's all I can do.
True. Can't take actions. I can't remember if haste ending means you can't move as well. Let me just double check. I imagine it does, but...
Cannot move or take actions until after the next turn.
Perfect. Then Chiruru's turn is skip Clar.
I think I might try and be more sensible about this. I am going to cast a spell, methinks.
Ooh.
I'm going to fire a loud ball of thunder at Casper.
Oh, chromatic orb E.
Chromatic orb. Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately not, no. Slices it in half as it's moving through the air, and it, like, detonates in 2 different areas, these lower reverberations that move through the chamber.
And I will... Yeah, I'm gonna duck behind Uther and
Yep.
cunning action hide.
Yep.
End of my turn.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot something.
Oh.
Oh,
You've got Dreadful.
Wisdom save. Yep, owes me a wisdom save.
Don't you do extra damage as well?
I don't. 1 second.
I think it's single target hits you deal an extra damage.
1 second. I'll just pop that back up.
I'm only seeing stuff about fear.
Yeah. That is exactly the save needed.
I'm afraid, yeah, it does make the save. Casper's last, oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? Fighting Spirit. Is going to chase down Adhira, I think. Caliban, you can make an attack opportunity if you wish.
Did I take a did I do a reaction?
I don't remember you parrying last turn.
No?
Okay, so that doesn't hit.
It doesn't hit, no. Casper strikes at Adhira twice with advantage. 24 and 16.
24 will hit.
9 damage Adhira as you get hit by the blade.
So 5
Or
points
four.
or 4?
I think it's 4 each.
Half.
Dafer, over to you.
Okay, I don't want to let Kuro recover. That's too dangerous. So 1, 2, 3. I'm taking that attack of opportunity.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Natural one misses you.
This is 4, 5, 6, 7. I can do that one. Or just. And I like everything I have. I'm jumping into Kuro to make sure they go down.
Yeah, go for it.
So that's another shoulder check on their slowed form.
Yep.
This time, actually lightning again with the boot. So
10
that's
misses. Manages to put the stick up to block.
And the one.
6 damage is literally just enough. You manage to get the last of the barrier down with that hit, Dafer. Flickers out.
So with a double footwork attack, I managed to knock them out. So that still leaves me with my gauntlets and a ranged attack. That can't tag because that attack went on to Juru, but it's an 8 attack at least. And I'm going to target Niall.
Okay.
That's the offhand attack. That is with overload. That is thunder. That's a 17.
17 hits, 8 damage goes through. And I think...
Wait, there's no way that's 8 damage. No, that is 8 damage because actually just the barbarian stuff apply to this.
Yes, it does. Yeah. 8
The rage damage.
8 damage goes through.
Okay. And then for my next trick, Andres is no longer afraid, is he?
He just lost fear, yeah.
I think it doesn't matter where. I'm just gonna.
You at least like make it so that he can't leave without getting an opportunity attack.
I guess I'm just I'm gonna get locked either way. This way, at least I only have one field that I can move. I'm just gonna stick around where I am.
Okay. It is Andrus's turn.
Unironically, you have a better chance of dodging that attack than I do.
Takes a lance, raises it skyward, radiant energy gathers at the tip of it, is going to move left here next to Dafer, and we'll target Dafer with it. 24 and 22. Gonna Divine Smite on both of these. That's 12, which is 6. And another 12 on top. And then 10 and 9.
I still have anything I can do here. Just let me double check if I really have nothing.
Yep.
Now I can just I only have crit negation. I don't have anything else. So yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, so as you bring Charu down and you turn to look around at where the next target's coming from, you see the flash of golden divine energy. Andra shifts over, whacks you twice with a lance, and the energy that is released in revenge of Charu being knocked down brings you down as well, Dafer. Andros, having moved 1 square, will now move 1, 2, 3, 4 to here.
Oh, fuck.
Niall's turn. Niall is going to try and lock down Caliban with last key point. 19 versus AC Caliban.
Neither of them hit me.
Ooh, I would have to use the bonus action punch and hope it lands. 10 misses as well. You dodge all 3 strikes, Caliban. It's your turn.
Alright. I'm gonna shift over here.
Yeah.
Alright. Attacking.
Attacking Casper? Yep. 18 hits.
18. Nice.
Big hit, 10 damage lands. Natural 1. Knowing you're there now, turns, parries the second strike. 24 comes through. I think you've hit every single time with that dagger against her. 1 point of damage extra. She
never expects the dagger.
She's like, I've got 1 sword, you've got 1 sword. Where's this fucking thing come into this? Anything else, Caliban?
That'll be all.
Atira.
Okay.
Is she
I'm just
blind
going...
to everything shorter than a sword?
Destroyed.
I'm going to be swinging out with my blades. So, first strike.
Casper, yep. Hits.
21.
Yep.
This will have Spirit Acid on it.
Ooh, 12 points of damage. Could not take another hit like that.
15.
15 manages to block that.
I'm going to do my last point of spirit and flurry of blows.
Yeah. Natural
8
1
will
misses.
miss.
18
18.
just hits.
Spirit Acid. 9.
So close. She grits her teeth, slides back from the impact of your fist, and Casper is still standing at Hera, barely, but stood.
I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that will... I'll move here. That will be my turn.
Uther.
Yep. Can't do that. That would be a double cast.
That's AI, or you get his opinion.
Okay, what?
It's relevant, yeah.
I think that wasn't for us.
They're arguing.
Something like that.
I can haste and use my haste in action to make an attack, yeah?
You absolutely can.
No, thinking better of it. I don't want to risk the stun effect.
Gotcha.
I'm going to aim. I have an ally.
19
Does
hits.
19 hit?
Literally on the dot, yeah.
Excellent. Perfect. I'm going to smite this fucker too.
Yeah, absolutely. Down to the wire as the strike hits Uther. Both Casper and Andrus are stood in similar positions, both barely there, but still stood.
That's fine. Someone else can clean up him. That will be my turn.
Okay. Taruru is just going to over to one side. Clara.
Oh, I thought.
Goodbye, Tarur.
Damn. Oh, she is done. Okay.
Yes, she is.
I wasn't going to crab walk, but I think now I have to crab walk because there's a man. I am stealth, but he is right next to me. So I had to like shuffle,
Damn him.
which does enable me because I'm still stealth. I have a nice straight shot to Niall there.
Yeah.
Maybe. Wait, are they a monk?
Yes, they are.
They
I
are.
don't think you should.
Oh, wait,
oh,
you
wait.
Please kill him.
Okay.
I mean, Niall
The thing
can,
is, I don't know if I can hit him.
yeah, Niall can deflect, but if it doesn't negate the whole damage, then I think it's still worth it. And the numbers that Clara puts out is definitely...
Yeah, like realistically, I think I would have better luck with Niall deflecting some of my damage. My chances of hitting Andrus, even minus sharpshooter, are not good.
Yeah, he's
Like I
he's
have to
tanky.
roll basically like 15 to hit him.
But yeah, taking the shot against Niall.
Yeah, I will. I am going to turn on sharpshooter. With advantage. So I'm going to spend another charge, I think, because I still have them.
Yes, you do.
So it turns it back to 18.
18 hits.
Lovely. Let me check that all my damage riders are on. I'm glad I checked because sharpshooter wasn't. 21.
21.
Double ones, man.
Is enough, as you do. Niall is not very sturdy. You manage to tap out their shell in pretty much one go. As a reaction, however, having been tapped out so early, they have learned how to go down and make a final strike as they do so. So they get one hit off in their way down. 18 misses you, however, Caliban, as you have a ridiculous AC.
That's what I'm built for, baby.
Clara, is that you?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Casper is up. She has gone this whole fight without using her spell crystal. I think it's time to use it.
Oh no, what is it gonna be?
She is going to point her blade off in the direction of the cluster of 3 individuals over here. And now...
Oh, this is a Hail Mary. Oh god.
Luckily, I only have a shatter on her. I think if I want to get you to... I think I can only get 2 of you, because otherwise I get Andrus. Yeah, because it's a 10-foot. I think she would go for the 2 next to Andrus, so I need Constitution from Uther and Atira. Oh, Jesus, Uther.
Oh, shit.
13 points of damage to Atira and 6 to Uther. That's all she's got. Daphra just walking off to the side. And then it is Andrus's turn. He takes the lance, places it down into the ground, twists it. Golden runes and star symbols appear in the ground. Uther and Atira, you begin to get pulled in towards Andrus. I need strength saving throws from Uther and Atira. Adhira, you take half damage. So that's 7 and 3. As you're kind of hit with a 1-2 combo, first the shatter, then the pull-in nova of radiant damage. Luckily, you're able to resist the pull-in as much as possible. It is Niall's turn. Just gonna walk off to the side here. Caliban.
I think I'll clean up right here.
11 misses. 25 does hit. Almost cursed yourself there, I think. 12 damage is enough as you manage to tank-on-tank violence bring Casper down.
Mm-hmm. And I'll head over to Andrus.
Yes, Andrus is down there with the rest of the group.
5, 6. Right here.
Yeah.
And
Crit hits. I can't believe it. So the three of you are like...
kill stealer!
You three of you are facing down Andrus. He has his lance out, golden light emanating. He's like getting ready for the final strike with Adhira and Uther and Clara. And Caliban is just like... stabs him in the back. He just fucking... Cell flickers off, all the gold light drops. The combat is over.
At least Andrus is finally getting to see what the rest of us have been seeing the whole time.
Axel calls the fight, claps and says, "Impressive from both sides. Impressive."
It was hard fought. It's nice to have a challenge.
Andrus nods and says, "We'll keep improving. We'll catch up."
I am going to
stay from the back line.
I'm going to wave off. Oh, one second. Move to another room. I'm going to wave off these spiritual arms and just sort of like wobble back and forth before slumping into Andrus's arms.
Catches you and says, "What's her BB?"
It's like a very good friend.
Chiruru, like, having hasted and done all the dodging of Dave for his attacks, just, like, falls, like, face first on the ground and, like, inchworms forwards. Like, just sliding along the ground.
I'm gonna go and offer Mistel a handshake.
She stands for a moment and then reaches out and takes your hand, Clara. She shakes it and said, "Lost sight of you during the fight. Impressive."
That's the whole thing. I don't know what it is about standing and fighting people, but it feels like everything else doesn't matter. I think I've been unfair to you. And I'm sorry.
I didn't exactly help. It's fine. Wanna start again?
Sure. Maybe over a game of chess next time and not something this brutal.
Chess sounds good.
Good.
Anyway, she like...
And they both turn around as
Yes.
if that conversation never happened.
Yeah. Chiruru, like, is led on the ground. You just see the thumbs up as they raise their hand, like, you did it.
Do you need a hand?
Looks at their hands. No, good. However, Dafer, I think this is your fault. Carry me.
You know what? I was planning on making food. Any wishes?
Something sweet?
No chance. Actually, no, wait. Honey glazed meat. No, you got me there.
Just kind of like softly drools, wipes mouth. Okay.
We deserve that one.
Axel says, "You're all welcome for the rest of the day off. I think you've taken enough punishment. Go, enjoy the rest of your Friday."
To both Andrus and Caspar. Good fight to the both of you.
Caspar looks at you and says, "That fucking dagger."
Yeah, good fight. You almost made me chip a nail.
She just grits, like, bares her teeth at you, just like, you're like half convinced she might try and bite you if you was closer. Andrus,
One of adherents,
Caliban!
Ghostly's arms reaches out and flicks him in the forehead.
You know what?
Andrus looks at you, Caliban, and says, "I've never seen someone adapt to one of Niall's strikes like that. You just sort of shrugged it off. You should have been, I don't know, dazed, at least."
That tends to happen a lot.
I mean, if it wasn't me, I'd say that's kind of unfair.
Well, I think I am just wired a little bit differently.
I suppose you could say that. I think that's as good as place as any for leave off for this week. We'll close it up with the fight having been done, and we'll go through into
1
the...
second.
Oh, yes.
Hero,
Yes?
next time I'll leave Caliban to you. Bring this fucker down.
You know, I'm here, there, everywhere.
Look, I can't stop winning.
Can't stop.
And you, Andrus, I'm starting to think this is personal. We're 2 for 2 now.
Andrus says, "Stop knocking my friends out." I think Mistor looks at you, Caliban, and says, "You're practically unscratched. You're incredible, Caliban."
And you did a fine job, Mistel. And he just gives a very quick thumbs up so that none of the rest of the team sees it. They'll have to make perception checks to see it.
For want of a better term, she sheepishly looks away.
We stop feeding his ego. We have to share
Guardian's
ground
just
space
nasty.
with him.
But yeah, we'll close it down there for this
From
week.
me, Caliban, screw you, but you did a job. I can't thank you enough for taking out these 2. If you're right, I've rarely seen somebody dodge that much.
Dayford took a shit ton of damage for a tier of that fight as well.
Oh,
actually.
Yeah, true.